forgot to do
Yeah,
that.
get that going. All right, Marty, we're back one more time. We're doing this again. Welcome, ladies and gents, back to another Morning Clyde show.
We're laughing. We'll explain why in a minute. Yeah.
We're laughing. Just a little heads up. If you're watching this after the fact, this is a live show, and we do this live every Wednesday at 6:30 Pacific time. That's, well, figure out the time. You guys can figure out. They're making it more complicated by getting rid of daylight savings time, staying on daylight savings time forever, and all kinds of things. So whatever time zone that is for you, 6:30 Pacific time. But if you're watching this after the fact, hey, welcome in. It's a great show. This is how it works. So for the first hour, we're going to be talking about a number of subjects Marty and I are interested in for the course of the week. A lot of Canadian politics, but also other stuff, American politics, worldly stuff. And after the first hour, we go into the Q&A session. So we'll be addressing the audience. So anyone who's in the live audience right now and wants to have us answer some questions, whatever, save that for the second half of the show. And for everyone who's watching after the fact, it's an extra treat because who knows where it goes? It goes somewhere different every single time. But that's that. You ready to go, Marty? You good?
Yeah, I'm ready to go.
All right. Well, you look ready to go, Marty. You're looking dapper. You're looking dapper today. What happened?
Yeah, well, Clyde, just before we started, said, "What's the matter? Like, do I have dip in my lip?" I'm like, "No, it's because you can see my lips. Look at how clean shaven I am." I went to my barber. His name is Sam, and sometimes when he's busy, he's very fast. Like normally, it takes about 50 minutes for a haircut. Right? Look at a haircut: like zip, a quick shave, and then quick trim.
Yeah.
But it was a slow day and he was bored. So he was like keeping me in the chair on purpose. And and I'm lying there and I can't quite see what he's doing. And he's just shaving. And then I get up and I look in the mirror. And I'm like, holy shit, I'm a different guy. Yeah, no, it's all good. It's all good. So funny guy, by the way, Sam. He's, I think he's Lebanese. And I laugh. We get along just great. But today, he repeats his stories over and over. As far as Sam's concerned, Lebanon invented everything. You know what I mean? Like when I'm sitting there, like
met people like that.
Yeah, every food was invented in Lebanon. The alphabet was invented in Lebanon. Math, science, everything.
Maybe numbers are Arabic numerals that we use. But anyway, so yeah, you got the whole treatment. You got everything done. What anything special?
Oh yeah. He just casually says. I think it was his way of saying, dude, I need to trim your nose hairs, right? He's like, can I do your nose hairs? I'm like, yeah, sure. And so he takes these two little Q-tips of wax and he shoves them in there. And I'm like, uh-oh, what did I volunteer for, right? And then he pinches my nose and then,
oh man, I can't even imagine. We come up with the trimmers, and then no, he's with the wax. Yeah, yikes.
Ouch. Okay, too much information. Sorry, folks.
Yeah, a little too much information. In fact, well, I mean, some people are getting a little too much information this week, and they don't give a shit really at the end of the day. And I guess we'll go right into that because it's a perfect segue. Andrew Lawton was on Twitter recently. I mean, obviously he was in the news. He's been in the news for ages. He was reporting on the news, and now he's an MP for the Conservative Party in Canada. And he had this story where, people are upset with the laws that are being passed in Canada under Mark Carney's government. And especially since he's now, he's got his faux majority because he got some floor crossers cross over. He can pass a lot of stuff through. And then it goes to the Senate, obviously, and people are concerned about what's being passed as laws. The Senate can make amendments. They can add stuff to bills. They could take stuff away from bills. It's kind of a Frankenstein project once it gets to the Senate. You don't know
what's the Senate's name, right? The Senate. What do they call it? It's the Chamber of Somber Thought, I think.
Or afterthought is what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, that's supposed to be, right? They're supposed to be the mature guys.
They're activists. They're absolutely activists, and they're adding stuff. And there was the recent amendment to one of the bills that was going to make it illegal to question whether the
schools, the Indian residential schools happened. Yeah.
Like questioning something is illegal. Wow, that's amazing. So that was a thing. And so here's the thing. Bill C-9 was being passed. It's a draconian law where they're trying to limit free speech and people's access to the internet. And so 240,000 people sent postcards to the Senate. 240,000 people. And I'll just pop it up on the screen. You got to see this. This is insane. Wow. Here's Andrew Lawton explaining this.
Andrew Lawton here, Member of Parliament for Elgin St. Thomas, London South. So these are the famous postcards you've heard about now. Over 240,000 people from across the country sent postcards to their senators telling them how much they oppose Bill C-9. This is the Liberal bill that is currently in the Senate that will have fundamental implications on religious freedom and freedom of expression. And what more poetic way to show that than the fact that the Senate originally held back these postcards, kept them in a warehouse in Gatineau, where my colleagues Tamara Jansen and Jacob Mantle tried to visit yesterday and couldn't even get in the building. But thanks to your pressure, your input, and I will say the incredible work of my colleague, Saskatchewan Senator Denise Batters, these postcards have now been moved to a Senate office. Now, you can see the scale of them here. I believe there are 133 boxes of these postcards in here. Each one has about 1,600 sent by Canadians across the country. But here's the thing, they haven't actually been sorted to the senators that they're supposed to go to. So one of these boxes was left open. I saw inside that they're all mixed together, postcards to every senator. So what senators have been told to do is send a staffer to come by and pick up a box and take back, so that those senators can read it. Now, I've seen, some people that have suggested senators might not want to read these postcards. I've only been here for a few minutes. Not one single Senate staffer from the Liberal appointed senators has come into this room to take one of these boxes back to read and to share and to understand.
So yeah, TLDR, they don't give a crap about what you have to say. They don't care at all that you oppose some of these laws. And these laws, it's crazy. These laws,
that's not a small amount, by the way, right?
No.
I mean, like I can sort of relate to that number. We collected 300,000 signatures, and it took us 120 days. It was a ton of effort. So when I see that volume, like 240,000 postcards, man, that's a number.
Yeah, absolutely, it's a number, and they just don't care. They just don't care. It's crazy because this is something that has to happen. The citizens of the country are putting out this initiative because they can't trust their founding documents. And this is something that I can't stress enough. And this is like, Canada does not have a constitution that's solid. It's not grounded. It's not something that will protect you. Not like the United States Constitution, where you have the First Amendment and that cannot be infringed. It's literally written in there that they're not allowed to write a law. And if they wrote a law that infringed on your rights to free speech, it would go right to the Supreme Court, and then that law is gone. It's gone. These are the protections that the United States have, and Canada does not have this. They have a judiciary that we know is happy to just let things slide, call it moot or whatever, and infringe on people's rights. We have a parliament that's happy to ram this stuff through, and we have a Senate that's happy to add more awful things to bills like this that are pushed through. So C9 is just a drop in the bucket of half of the stuff that the Liberals are trying to push through at this moment.
But beyond that, I mean, like, this should piss off everybody. Whatever side of any debate you're on, this should piss you off, right? Like, how often do you hear politicians say, "Oh, I talk to my constituents and they claim to represent us," and then you see something like this. Like, how can any senator in the Senate claim to represent their people when they've clearly ignored thousands of postcards? Like, I'll have to follow up on this story, because I haven't heard any senators come up and speak up and say anything about that. I mean, I don't even know how they defend that. I'm sure I know what they'll say. They'll say, "Oh, some staffer took it upon themselves to whatever." Like, that's maddening.
Yeah, and they'll just ignore it. They'll absolutely ignore it. Now, there are a lot of concerns that people have with some of these laws that are being written, which is crazy because there's so many in the down the pipe. They just keep coming. Before under Trudeau, it was like, okay, they got Bill C-10, and that turned into Bill C-11. They had Bill C-18, but these things are very slow moving. This is different. Under Carney, we have a very different government. They're very proactive and they're moving this stuff along. The most recent one is trying to ban kids from the internet.
Before we get to that one, though, I will. One thing I'm still thankful for, he is moving them along, but they're not ending up as law, right? They're still not getting their third reading and what's the one the word after that, royal assent, because the majority that he has right now is still too thin. Like when it comes to vote, everything has to fall in line. In fact, I think he's going to lose one more MP this week. But yeah, no, I mean, you're right. What's the new one now this week?
The new one's Bill C-34. I've got this to pop up on the screen. This is Mark Miller announcing this bill that's we're going to save the children. It's always something like this. It's we're saving you. It's for your safety. It's for this. It's for that. Now we're saving the children.
This is why we are introducing the Safe Social Media Act. The act will establish a minimum age of 16 to have a social media account. The act will require social media platforms and AI chatbot services to do more to protect children and make their platforms safe by design. Social media and AI chat platforms will have a responsibility to protect children from harmful content, including content that promotes self-harm, sexual exploitation, violence, hatred, bullying, or the non-consensual sharing of intimate images.
Yeah, guess what? That already is on the books. What are they trying to do here, Marty? Like, here's the thing. Now, you could say, oh, hateful, blah, 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 that kind of thing. It's so vague. It's not really, they want to make a new law for that. But yeah, exploitation, sexual exploitation of children, all of that stuff is still criminally prosecutable. You can go after people for this. Social media companies have shown that they're willing to be forthcoming when it comes to investigations for
proactive to do the right thing. Absolutely.
So what is this really about? Well, it has nothing to do with the kids. If they cared about the kids, then all kinds of bad things wouldn't be happening to kids in the country. I mean, there wouldn't be a 14% unemployment rate for children or for young adults that are just coming of age. That wouldn't be the case if the government really cared about kids. So what do they care about? Well, they want to make it so you have to use ID to get on the internet. They want to be able to identify every single soul that's out there with an opinion. That's exactly what this goal is about.
And they want to do, and this thing will also do one other thing. If you read the bill carefully, they're proposing to build to start up another government agency to monitor this. Right? We already have the CRTC, and we have all sorts of groups. But buried in there is like, oh, now we need whatever, the youth monitoring, call it whatever the hell they want. What is it? It's just another government.
We call it Big Brother.
It's another Big Brother group monitoring us. And then, oh, well, we accidentally monitor people that are over 18. Oops. Or over 16. Yeah, sure. Like, I know. We
monitor everybody because, like, how do you implement a ban on anyone who's under 16? Well, you have to show ID to go on the social media platforms. That's
which they don't have, right? How many kid under, like, I know.
And this is the thing. So, and if you want to talk about success rate, go look at Australia. They implemented this and it's a joke. Every kid is getting on the social media platforms regardless anyway. And again, do they care? Do they actually care that the kids are still getting on the platforms? No, because the main goal is to get your information, not the kids' information.
Right.
How to keep this kid safe. That's not the goal.
I mean, my kids are older than yours. Maybe you give me your perspective, but I didn't give my kids full-blown digital phones until they each reached 14. And I remember I felt a little bad by the time. For Ray, it was a little tougher. For Nick and Patrick, the older kids, for me, holding off and not giving them a phone until they were 14, that felt normal. I had no problem with that. But by the time
problem, my daughter's 12, she still doesn't have a phone.
Yeah,
that's 2 years away, and then getting a phone. I'm even kind of nervous about that at this point.
Yeah, and then you're a parent. You can give her a phone, and you can literally put all sorts of protections on there, and you can put your own software and monitor what she's doing. You can ask to see her phone every night before going to bed, whatever. Like, you're a parent. That's what we do, right? And I mean, if I was a parent,
I want to throw this in there. So if the government bans kids from going on social media platforms, well, they're going to find a social media platform anyway to go on. But here's the thing. Facebook, Meta, which is the big bad guy or whatever, but they're still very accommodating for parents. They have Messenger Kids, and Messenger Kids is actually a great way to get your kids to, because they want to get into these social media platforms. You get them on that, and you get to see who they're in contact with. You maybe don't see all their private messages, and that's their business, right? Like you can have like privacy there, but you know who they're communicating with, and that's the thing. And you can get audits. That's
even when he was making that announcement, Mark Miller kept referring to things that already are in place, right? Like he was talking about endless scrolling, and I know what he means by endless scrolling, right? If you start looking at shorts on Instagram or at YouTube, you don't have to go in, out, in, out. You can just keep scrolling and see short after short after short. But Instagram's already implemented a program. After I scroll through 3 shorts on Instagram, it puts a little warning at the end, says, okay, you've done 5 in a row. If you want to, it forces you to pause. All these things Miller said he's going to make the big boys, the Metas of the world do. They already do. They already do. Yeah. They absolutely do. Yeah.
This is what parents are for. In fact, actually, this is a perfect opportunity to plug our book. So, Yuji and I, we've been working on a book company, a side company, making children's books. And this is a book that we made. It's called Johnny's New Phone. And it's literally about that. It's a story about this kid who gets a phone, who normally likes to play outdoors, and he gets into the doom scrolling. And when he gets into it, everything starts going crappy for him, and he's tired all the time, and he's not enjoying himself. And it's got a great moral to the story. So yeah, go check these out. I'll have put a link in the description, or maybe we can get one of the mods to put in a link for these books. But yeah, they're on Amazon under Enlightening Bug Books. So go check that out. There's a QR code right there if you want to pause that screen and get that at some point. So go. Cool. Check those out. We're actually going to be publishing a bunch of these books. You know what it is? We saw that there's a ton of publishers that are making left-wing propaganda BS. And we didn't want to come in with an alternative that's right-wing propaganda BS. We just wanted to have something wholesome, like wholesome stories for kids. So we decided to make these books. But that's how you target these problems. You don't target these problems with government programs. And this is what, like, Benjamin Franklin and Thomas Jefferson been rolling in their graves today if they heard that people in North America were like actually considering like giving the government these controls over the social habits of their children. This is just absolutely absurd. But as I said, I don't think it's actually that they're targeting. I think it's really that they're targeting you, and they want to know more about you because they want to know the dissenting voices in society because they want to shut you up.
Well, I mean, think about it. Like, what's a recent new, like, what law? Let me rephrase this. We barely need any new laws, right? Like, the country's been around for like 150 years, 157 or whatever. Like, every law is in place, right? Whatever problem we have, like I said, we had a problem during COVID because people were staying out of, too many people were suddenly going into parks, and there was extra garbage on the trails. And then what does the government respond with? Oh, we need a new law and a new pass so that people have to pay to go use the trail. No, you don't. If there's a problem, you had 15 laws on the books to deal with this problem, right? You could have sent an officer on the trail and issue tickets to anybody. Like right now, oh, we need a new law to prevent whatever. We have laws for everything. They're just too. Think of the gun laws. Like, that's the other one, right? I mean, let's talk about the gun laws. Like, our government keeps telling us we need gun laws to whatever. No, we don't need more gun laws, man. If somebody kills somebody, you know how you solve that problem? You put that guy in jail and you don't let him out. or there's illegal guns coming across the border. You have tools to deal with that. You have border guards inspect the vehicles coming across the border and stop the guns. Like, but our government keeps wanting to pass new laws. Yeah, the gun law is actually, the gun law was a good news story for us this week.
Before we get into that, just in the general broad perspective of it, if you look at any place where they start banning guns, it immediately becomes a more dangerous place. Because guess what? Guess who doesn't give up their guns?
Yeah.
The bad guys.
bad guys.
That use them as tools to get what they want from you. It's when good guys have guns that things are good. And I can't emphasize this enough. Canada's violent crime is skyrocketing at the same time that gun restrictions have been getting worse and worse and worse. It's the same thing throughout the United States. Anywhere where guns are extremely limited and restricted to law-abiding citizens, guess where all the damn crime is? You know, like I'm moving to Texas, where people are encouraged to have a gun in your home. If somebody comes in your home, plow, like do what you got to do, protect your family. And guess what? People are like reluctant to bust into people's homes. They're not so reluctant in neighborhoods where they know that there are no guns in the houses. It's not that difficult to comprehend, but somehow people are still just lagging on this one.
No. But we had a victory this week, temporary victory. Mm-hmm. The federal government extended the amnesty.
So what does that mean?
The reason they need an amnesty is because they've since 1922 or since 1922. God, I wish for 4 years now, the liberals have banned guns. Okay, so they banned guns, but they haven't told us what they're going to do, what we do with the banned guns. All they've said so far is this gun is banned. And I have one, so I'll full disclosure, I have a banned gun. They know about it. It's an AR-15, and the government says that gun's banned, Marty. You can't use it. All you can do right now is store it in your basement. Don't use it anywhere. Don't take it out of the house. And eventually, we will tell you what to do with your gun. Okay. So we've been waiting for 4 years for the government to tell us, right? They thought
years. For some guns, it was like 6 years.
Sure, but the generally speaking, the ones we're talking about is a ban that started in 2022. So they kept saying we're going to buy them back from you guys. Which, by the way, you can't buy back something you didn't sell me, but that's a different story. They're going to buy them from us, right? They're going to buy them from us. Every pilot they've done doesn't work. Nobody's turning in their guns, and so they're like, "Holy shit, what do we do?" But now they got a new problem on their hands because the Canadian Firearms oh my God, Rod, what's CCFR? The CCFR,
Rod Giltaca.
Yeah. And others, they're taking the government to court, and it's going all the way to the Supreme Court. So the Supreme Court's going to decide whether the gun ban is constitutional or not. Mm-hmm. But the Supreme Court can't hear this until next year at best. And even then they'll hear it and it'll take them time to do a decision. So today or this week, the federal government says we'll extend the amnesty until 90 days after the Supreme Court rules. Okay. So basically they're extending this gun ban, the amnesty, for another, call it, year and a half.
Well, it's only fair because, like, what would the remuneration be if they implemented this and then it turns out that it's unconstitutional, right? So
then they'd have to reverse everything. Oh, it'd be so they
reverse something. You can't undestroy people's property, right? It's undoable.
Yeah. So they're pausing this because obviously their law is flawed and is being challenged all the way to the Supreme Court. Even if it wasn't being challenged to the Supreme Court, they don't know what to do, man. I mean, they've experimented with it. Like, how do you force me? How do you get me to turn my gun back in? Like, people are saying, no, I'm not going to comply. And so that's the big problem, right? They got
compliance, right?
Yeah. 100,000 people. Like I joked about it. I'm glad the amnesty's on, but technically I was going to become a criminal in October if they didn't renew the amnesty because I have a gun, it's banned, and I was going to say, screw you, I'm not turning it in. So come get it. But they knew that if they start going door to door to come get the guns from the Martys of the world, like, whoa, that's not an optic they want, man.
No.
Like, can you imagine? Like, yeah, you got to get everybody at a time because.
Man. And you know what? Like, the people who did, so there are people that have complied with it, like 2%. Yeah. And I'll tell you what, because I know someone who did, and the reasons make sense. The reasons were he's leaving Canada anyway.
Yeah. So
he couldn't bring them across borders because Canada's government says it's prohibited. So he was moving back to Australia, which everything's prohibited over there anyway. So he's like, well, I'll take advantage of the buyback. I'll do that. and he went through with it, and it was a shit show, Marty. Like, it was ridiculous. The RCMP didn't know who's supposed to be talking with who, and he's like, I'm not just rocking up with a prohibited weapon to the cop shop. You got to give me instruction on how to do this. It took a while, and then finally they complied, and they sent him a box that was like a special box that he had to put it in and have the bolt and all that stuff open. And he went through this like drive-through thing at the cop shop, and they made him like stop and then open the trunk, and the police came in and did it. It was just, it's such a farce, and so much money is going to be wasted on it. It's dumb. But so
even the cops don't want to do this. Even the cops don't want to do this.
And like I'm saying, even the only reason why there's a 2% compliance rate, which is laughable, is because some people are taking advantage of it because they're leaving the damn country anyway, and that's it. And some were retailers that just wanted to get some money back for the
retailers were kind of forced to do it. But yes, of the 2%, it's people leaving the country. It's people who are already dead, so their estate, their loved ones or whatever are saying, well, these Uncle Bob's dead, so I might as well turn in Uncle Bob's 3 guns and get whatever $700 for them. And yeah, a handful of the number was dismal. It really, I don't even know if it was 2%, because it might have been 2% of the guns, but it might have been about 0.5% of the people. Yeah.
That's about it. It's absurd. It really is absurd. But this is where the government thinks that they can go with this. Now, the Supreme Court has put things on hold, but at the end of the day, your guns have been banned.
Yes.
You bought property with the intent of using it, and using it in a legal way. You want to go to the range, you want to go shoot rounds off, you want to go practice with it, you want to do things, but you can't do that. So they've effectively banned it, and that's what's so frustrating about this whole situation.
But there's something also really interesting, is that it shows, there's a paradox there that the Liberals aren't willing to acknowledge, which is you ask me, as I'll cite myself, me and 600,000 others, don't use your guns anymore. I'm like, okay, I'm not using it, even though I still own it, even though it's still there. And so you told me not to use it. I'm not using it. If you tell me only use it in this approved manner, that's what I would do. So by our current compliance, we're proving that we're not the problem. We're not the problem. They didn't get rid of the guns. They just told us temporarily, don't use them. And we're like, that. Well, I'll use it any way you want me to, and I'm not the problem. Yeah, no, it's a weird paradox, because when you bring that up, because the minister said, compliance is not voluntary, but we expect you to comply with the law. It's like, well, yeah, but you've always expected us to comply with the law, and we have. Your statement, minister, is so bullshit. Like, we expect you to comply with the law. I expect everyone to comply with every law, including criminals, but you don't expect criminals to comply with the law. You expect
how about sitting members of parliament don't sit cocaine on airplanes? Like, that's a law, but they're fine with just abandoning that. It's absurd. I can't believe it. I can't. Don't embezzle taxpayer dollars. That's the law. They can't comply with that. Like, all this stuff.
Read the postcards that your citizens send you. That's the law. No, we don't need to do that.
You know where they're going to post them? You know where they're going to send them? They're going to send them via Canada Post. And guess what? There's no good workforce at Canada Post. And you know why? Because this pissed me off so much, Marty. I'm sorry. I'm sharing a moment tonight with you guys. I got off work, and I went to the grocery store. And next to the grocery store is a post office. And I happened to be looking at the window because I was looking at there's a real estate place in between, and they had all these places for like millions of bucks for like a single family dwelling that's like not great. I mean, not horrible, but like, who's paying $2 million for a 3-bedroom house? Anyway, walking by, I noticed a help wanted sign at the post office, and I'm sorry, but this one really pissed me off. So I got to just share this one. So this was the sign that was in the window. It says, now
you took that picture? Like, this is real. This is not somebody else's picture?
It's my picture. I took
your picture. Okay.
So I took this picture, and this is at the post office saying now hiring. They even wrote it on it again. It says on the thing, but they had to throw it in there with a red Sharpie, is now hiring. But then you look in at the fine print, and it says here, all qualified candidates will be considered. However, preference will be given to an Indigenous person, First Nations, Métis, or Inuit, a person with a disability. This is a special measure employment equity initiative, and candidates who wish to qualify for preferential consideration must self-identify. So basically, if you don't fall into this category, you're not eligible for a damn government job. And this infuriates me, and this is why I wrote, if I'm not eligible for a government job, then why is it that I'm not only eligible, but I'm forced to pay half my damn income in taxes? Absolutely. It's infuriating. Why is it that the government's supposed to be impartial on all grounds? And we beg for meritocracy. We absolutely beg for that. But what do we get in the end? We get this racialized bullshit system of discrimination. It's a system of discrimination. And it's like, well, I don't want to pay into it. I'm not going to pay into that. I'm not a beneficiary. Then why am I paying? Period. End of story.
Yeah. And Canada Post is a crown losing corporation, a money losing crown corporation. Like because of bullshit like this. They're
I showed my wife this, and she says, well, no wonder this service is so shit. Well, that's her first response. It's just knee-jerk reaction.
But do like so many. I mean, you don't want the job, and I know that, and I get that.
Oh, no. I mean,
but if you want the job, just apply for it and put up a bullshit name, right? Write down that your name is Tonto Kowalski, and
I hate that, Marty. There was people in the reply saying that. I'm not going to pretend that I'm something that I'm not because it ticks a freaking box. I'm not.
But people are doing it legitimately and making a point and showing that there is some discrimination, right? Like not in instances where it's advertised, but they're playing the game. They're saying, I'm just going to apply for a job, and they're applying for a job, and they're making themselves they're presenting themselves as DEI hires and making a point that they get preferential. Like it's no joke that there are stories of young graduate male white graduates applying for jobs all over Calgary and not getting interviews, and then they just quickly change their last name to Singh, and all of a sudden they get a bunch of interviews, and they're doing it as a point.
That's right.
Point. Yeah.
Right. Or I.
By the way, the story. The story didn't make the news.
Fake Indians, so too. It's just there's a white guy with like feather earrings or something.
And no, but I thought you were going to go somewhere else with Canada Post, because it didn't make the news very much last week, but Canada Post actually resolved their strike, right? Remember, Canada Post been on
strike for like a year and a half.
They've been, and they finally abandoned the strike, and both parties, like the QP or whatever, just said, okay, we're dropping it. They weren't going anywhere. They weren't going to gain, and they knew they weren't going to gain because Canada Post lost $2.5 billion last year, man. Like it's on
5.
Yeah, it's on, what do you call it? Life support. Like, so, arguing for a better job, for a 3% increase at Canada Post, you might as well quit and go work somewhere else.
If there is ever a good argument for euthanasia in Canada, that's the one. Get rid of it. Canada Post, goodbye. And I don't care if you're nostalgic, because back in the day you used to lick stamps, and letters used to go places, and times change. You know what? We used to all have leaded gasoline too. You want to go off some leaded gasoline for nostalgia points? I don't care. Times change, things change, and we no longer need to mail letters to people. And like you've said it many times, your post box is down at the end of the block. You barely check it, and when you do, it's flyers for businesses that you just throw right into the recycle bin.
Or my MP. Actually, the worst junk mail I get is from my MP, Blake Richards. Once a month, I get an email from Blake Richards with a almost pre-filled survey. Like,
see, that your knee-jerk reaction was to say you get an email. people don't even
Right.
people don't even think about real mail anymore. It's not normal to send real mail. So these people,
Canada Post hasn't adapted at all. I've always said it. You're right. I mean, I have to go down on purpose down that end of the road to go get my mail because it's not on my way out. So once about every week or 2 weeks, I leave the house via a different road, go stop at the mailbox. And if Canada Post had adjusted and said we only deliver once a week, I'd be like, that's fine by me. They haven't even adjusted that way. They're still insist on driving there every day and putting flyers in there. Yeah.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
Absolutely unbelievable. So I mean, where do we go next with this? I mean, the big story of the day
Kuzma. Yeah.
is that.
Yeah.
So Donald Trump now saying, forget it. We're not doing it. So this is the first story that I saw today that broke was from here. So this was here we go. We got the CTV News is who reported on this. Now, in their article, they say we don't need anything that Canada has. Trump says he's not looking to renew North America trade deal. Now, in this, he has a quote, and I'll skip that here. He was asked, no, we don't need anything from Canada or Mexico, he said. By July 1st, all three countries must say whether they would like to renew the agreement for 16 years or commit to annual reviews per the schedule baked into the deal. Now, what's interesting about this deal is Donald Trump was the one who brought it in, right? NAFTA was crappy for America. It was comfortable for Canada and Mexico, but it was really a crappy deal. Now, Donald Trump, he was the one who brought in the USMCA, or what Canada calls CUSMA. Now, he said NAFTA was the worst trade deal I've ever seen, referring to CUSMA 1904 predecessor, the North American Free Trade Agreement. I made it better, but I had the right to terminate. And if NAFTA, we didn't have the right to terminate. And this is the real key. This is the main key that a lot of people are not getting, especially on social media, because there's a lot of people fighting back against this one and saying, well, he can't leave. He can't unilaterally leave NAFTA, or sorry, the USMCA, because he has to do this through Congress. This is not true. And I really want to set the record straight with this. And I got some infographics here to show everybody, just to help everybody, so I can illustrate the point here. So let me sorry, I got on the wrong screen. Pop this up on the screen so everybody can see. And this came from this came from Google, but this is lots of sources behind this. Yes, a U.S. president can initiate the termination of a trade deal, but the extent to the unilateral power remains the subject of ongoing debate between executive and legislative branches. Now, this is where a lot of people are saying, "Oh, well, you can't actually do that. It has to be with the Senate. They have to, or sorry, the Congress has to bring this through. It has to be a legislative thing." Now, that's not actually true. And this is where it comes in. So statutory authority, usually a president's ability to terminate, depends on the specific wording of the Trade Act passed, which was written by Trump and his administration. Congress to implement the deal for major agreements, specific causes like a 6 months withdrawal notice in the USMCA, dictate how a country can exit, but do not explicitly specify whether the president requires congressional backing to trigger it. Now, this is where it gets even more interesting. Next slide is the judicial stance. Now, this is where the judiciary stands on this, on whether the executive branch or they have to go through Congress is. Well, the judicial stance is that the courts have generally been reluctant to intervene in these political constitutional power struggles, meaning that unless Congress takes preemptive legislative action to block a withdrawal, a president's notice to terminate will often stand. So they have not yet made any sort of moves in the Congress to stop this from happening. So therefore, likely if he just, because I mean, it's coming up in mere weeks. July 1st
Well,
is the time that they have to the renewal comes up. And
So there's two paths, right? So on July 1st, well, there's one right now. There's the status quo would be no review, and if there's no review, then it's just status quo, and the deal expires in 2036, right? So it's a 16-year deal signed in 2020, so it expires in 2036.
Yeah.
Right now, Canada said they'd be interested in reviewing it. If they review in July or in the coming months, then they could extend the deal past 2036. They could extend it to 2041. They could extend it by another 6 years. But Donald has no appetite for the review, so I don't think there'll be a review. So at best, it's status quo. So the deal will expire in 2036. What I suspect will happen, what Donald is telegraphing right now, is that he's gonna file a notice after July 1st saying I wanna pull out of the deal. If he does that, he can pull out in 6 months. Like that's written in there. He can just pull out in 6 months.
It's baked in. For all the people who are saying that no, he needs congressional approval, we just proved that it's not there. The executive can do this. Yeah. They could have made a stink and made it so he can't pull out by passing something, but they didn't pass anything. Nothing was even introduced along the lines of passing something. He
wants out. I can tell he wants out because even though he made the deal, he's changed his opinion on trade since then, right? He's all in with tariffs and everything else. So because of this deal, he can't impose tariffs. Like anything covered by this deal he can't hit with tariffs right now. So he's not hitting a large swath of our economy with tariffs because he can't. If he gets rid of this deal, if he backs out of this deal, then he can start just hitting us with tariffs. Well, not us, but he can hit his own people with tariffs, but then they would stop buying from us. So I don't know. I think
I think the sentence in this story is the one sentence that's not in the audio clip that I'll show in a second here, but this is him saying NAFTA was the worst deal I've ever seen, referring to Kuzma's 94 predecessor, the North American Free Trade Agreement. I made it better, but I had the right to terminate. And with NAFTA, we didn't have the right to terminate. It's like he wanted to bake that into the deal so that he could back out at any time and do so unilaterally as a president. Now, here's what he had to say that a lot of people are sharing on social media today.
What more do you expect from Canada?
Well, I'm not looking to renew it. I don't, I made the deal. And the primary reason I made the deal is that NAFTA was the worst trade deal I've ever seen. USMCA did one thing that I loved. After 6 years, it comes up for renewal. I don't know that I'm going to renew it because, to be honest with you, the United States does much better. Okay? We don't need anything that Canada has. We don't need anything that Mexico has, but they need everything that we have. And they have to treat us better. With Mexico and Canada, we have trade deficits. We should have surpluses with them. We don't need their cars. We don't need their lumber. We don't need their energy. We don't need anything that they have.
And it's unfortunately absolutely true. It's just
he didn't feel that way 26 years ago. What he's not saying is that he has changed his opinion in the last 6 years. I mean, he says I signed the deal because it was a shitty deal. Well, you didn't have to sign Kuzma. You could have just not done Kuzma, right? He didn't need to do a deal in 2020, but he did that one. But things have changed in the last he got elected a second time. He might not have been thinking about that in 2020. And then this go around, our prime minister is a dickhead. Yeah. So that's probably the biggest reason. He's not coming out on stage and saying it up front, but if he had a nice guy, he'd probably review the deal. But right now he's got an asshole north of him, and he's like, I'm not reviewing the deal. He basically says that over and over in that interview, like, we're not getting a fair deal. The surplus. I disagree with the surplus, by the way, right? I mean, I think Donald, like, you're always going to have a trade deficit with us. You're 10 times fucking bigger than we are. Like, I mean, like, it's just the way it is. But actually, I posted on that today. I mean, you don't need to go in there, but
I'm good.
Yeah. I posted about that because the Stats Canada's trade numbers came out yesterday, and it's really damaging for us right now what he said. It's black and white. Carney's efforts to diversify and find us new markets haven't worked, man.
They haven't
Like,
worked. No,
haven't worked. Not even close.
Nobody's gonna replace the United States.
No.
Can't.
It's geography. It's common sense. And people say, well, we shouldn't fold to them. Don't call it folding, but you got to suck up to the, like, we are blessed with having a freaking enormous economy next door to us. Don't piss them off. You don't have to suck up to them. You don't have to fold to them.
What are you
don't
folding?
antagonize?
This is the thing that annoys me the most. What are you folding on? Everything that Donald Trump wants Canada's government to fold on is things that would benefit the average Canadian consumer. Absolutely no holds bar. Like here, okay, let me give you an example. I just signed up for.
We've talked about this a million times.
No.
We're not folding if we give up on the dairy cartel. I agree. We're not folding, but some people see it as folding.
Oh, but there's more. There's more. So this is new. I just signed a contract to get my internet when I'm in Texas. So I just signed that contract. I'm getting the fastest internet that's available to mankind at the moment, which is fiber optic, 1 gigabyte upload and download. In Canada, that product costs typically, if you have that service even available to you, which I didn't when I moved even in my own town, I used to pay over $150 for that same service. Can you guess what I'll be paying in Texas for that?
$40.
$40 freaking dollars, Marty. Yeah. You're the only one that guessed it right. It's unbelievable. But that's the thing. So this is what Canadians are missing out on by not, negotiating with Donald Trump, is they're missing out on getting rid of the freaking monopolies that drive every price that you have to pay every day for your family. And instead of, having that money, that money available to buy more food to put on your plate, so you have to go to the food bank instead, so that you can pay these monopolies that run finance, that run telecommunications, that run the dairy industry, that run all these things. You get to pay for their monopoly services that generally, when monopolies exist, it costs the consumer more. And it's a racket, and everybody's out there defending it with their freaking elbows. And it just makes no damn sense to me.
We're defending industries we suck at. Yeah, absolutely. We shouldn't be. Yeah, that's people that say we'd be folding. We're not folding. We're yielding to somebody who's more efficient than we are, and we should focus on what we're good at. But then, if we focus on what we're good at, then we would focus on oil production, lumber production, uranium, and things that are not sexy for people in Ontario and Quebec. Yeah.
Now, what's going to happen if the USMCA ends in 6 months from the July 1st? Well,
Ontario and Quebec are doomed.
They're doomed because 85% of goods that go from Canada to the United States are protected under the USMCA from any tariffs that Donald Trump puts on them. Yep. 85% of those items will immediately become that much more, 10% or more expensive to purchase in the United States. And guess what Americans are going to do? They're going to purchase not your product because it's more expensive. Period.
Doug Ford is going to spite. Doug Ford is going to spite himself, and so is Carney, just to make a point. But but they don't care because they don't hurt physically. Well, Doug Ford
cares because he's gone on this new tour. He's gone on this new.
He cares, but I mean, what happens? What's the worst that happens to Carney, right? If Carney makes a bad deal and the price of beef goes up 40%, does he suffer? No, not nearly as much as you and I suffer. So, and by the way, I won't suffer. Yeah, I know. I feel bad for Ontario people. Elbows up, man, in Ontario. Elbows up.
Yeah. So they're only going to suffer in the media. They're only going to suffer in the polls, and that's the only thing they'll suffer. Their wealth is guaranteed. They're heavily invested.
Good old Alberta beer.
They're heavily invested in the United States. I mean, Carney, most of his investment is through U.S. firms. That's where he's at. He was supposed to divest, but he didn't. Everything's in a blind trust, and we all know where that all goes. But that's it. These guys are comfortable. They're not going to suffer the consequences of any of this stuff. But Donald Trump's, what he said before, economic pressure, it's about to come, and it's about to be real. It's about to actually be real.
Now, there's one thing that is perhaps saving Ontario and Quebec in the short term is that Donald right now is kind of in a rock and a hard place, and he's walking a bit of a thin line, right? His inflation in the U.S. right now is something like 4.5%. That Gulf War, that oil at $96. By the way, like I'm in Alberta. I haven't seen my boys that happy in a long time, right? I mean, they don't regret going into oil patch, but my boys lately, they come over for dinner, and like I thought one of them was going to be cocky the other day. Go, hey, here, Dad, I brought some steaks. You know, like making some big bucks in the oil patch. But the oil patch is booming in Alberta right now. I knew it would. It absolutely.
It booms every time there's a conflict like this.
Absolutely, yeah.
But
you know,
I've got faith. Like, so I know that these politicians, they do things in a manner, and they try to time everything. So we could have a resolution right now. I doubt that they want a resolution right now, because it'll go through the news cycle. Everyone will forget about it, and then everyone's on to the next thing. The resolutions are all going to come in October. Like, just get.
Yeah, well, we talked about this last week, right? July 4th is right around the corner. Okay, July 4th is the 250th anniversary of the U.S. So they're about to have a party of all parties.
Oh, absolutely.
Donald doesn't need a lot of other news right now. You know what? They're all going to be just fine for a while. Then when he needs a big story, he'll break a big story. I would.
Speaking of parties, there was a party that was supposed to happen. I guess it isn't happening. That's over at the Gordie Howe Bridge in Windsor, Ontario. I guess they were supposed to open it. So this is a bit of confusion. And maybe
put up a map, please. Put up a map. Like I'm not familiar with that part of the world. Like, where's this bridge? I've heard about this bridge a million times. I've never looked it up.
Okay, let me Google Maps this. So I can
Give us a geography lesson. You've lived in that part of the world.
Yeah, I grew up there. Windsor.
Like, is this a bridge replacing an old one that was crumbling, or is this a new path somewhere? Or
no, it's just so yeah. There's it's just another new bridge. So let's try to pop this up in maps so we can view this. Close that, and wow, just it's giving me all these recommendations. There we go. Bear with me just a second while I pop this up. So. Here we are.
There we go. Yeah.
This is Windsor in Detroit. Now, for people who don't know the geography, it's kind of weird that Canada is south of the United States. It's because this peninsula of Ontario jets down below Michigan, and that's how that works, right? So when you zoom into Detroit,
man, there's got to be a lot of traffic through that part of the world, right? Like, that is a key. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's tremendous. So, you have a tunnel that goes downtown. I'm not sure exactly where we are here, but I'm struggling with this one. I think
anyway, so somewhere in that part of the world, there's a new bridge.
The Ambassador Bridge is here. So okay. The Ambassador Bridge is here, and that's where like billions of dollars of trade crosses over that bridge every single day. It's tremendous. Now there's a tunnel over here that goes from the downtown core to the downtown core of Detroit. There's not a lot of truck and commercial traffic going through there. It's a lot more just commuters that are, people in Windsor that work in Detroit. When I was growing up, my dad worked in Detroit. So, my dad's American, so he would work on the American side. And that's just a normal thing when you live in border towns, that you have, families that have one of the parents is from one side.
So is the one under your cursor the new one then, or
that would be the new bridge? That would be it's supposed to be a bigger artery, and it connects easier to the freeway systems instead of
going through town. Yeah.
Huron Church Road is famously would be backed up for hours and hours and hours, and then it would be difficult to get to I-75. And this new one it's got a way better track to get to I-75, and it'll free up the traffic on the Ambassador Bridge. But it was one of those things where Canada kind of like unilaterally went at this, you know what I mean? And they're like, yeah, we're just going to build a bridge. And didn't they? I guess they consulted locally with the people in Michigan, but didn't consult that much federally. And that's where Donald Trump jumped in and said, Yeah, well, you didn't even ask me if we're cool. It's kind of my jurisdiction as the commander in chief on whether you're going to open up a new artery across the border, which is my thing. And he's used that to his advantage because it is his jurisdiction. Absolutely, it's his jurisdiction.
Yeah, but I mean, how are we supposed to build a bridge? I build halfway, you build halfway, and then we meet in the. I mean, there has to be like there had to have been some chat, right? This didn't start under Trump. This must have started under
other people.
Yeah.
It took a long time. Now the opening of it's become a bit of a controversy, and that's because Mark Carney he made the announcement the other day that the bridge was going to open, and here's where he said that, because this kind of was weird.
Positive news. Obviously, the bridge will be open at the end of the week, and a symbol, but also a fact of cooperations between our countries. Great for Canadians going across the border, Americans coming across the border, and for commerce. And I just want to salute those who constructed it on both sides, and looking forward to getting it done.
Right. So he did that weird thing where it seems like you're lying. You're doing the shifty look and looking
He's
around.
shifting, always touching his nose, doing all the classic bullshit. Yeah.
So Donald Trump comes back and he says, "Ain't happening. It's not opening. We're not opening this bridge." And I don't know who made the announcement, but ain't happening. And so now everybody's got to walk this back. And Doug Ford had the most awkward interview today. And I just got to share it because it's absolutely crazy. Here's Doug Ford being grilled on this at a news conference.
Hi, Premier. Alison Jones with the Canadian Press. You made some comments yesterday about the Gordie Howe Bridge. Sounds like you're a little skeptical that this opening might actually go ahead, and that you're hearing two stories. Can you expand at all on what those two differing stories are and who you're hearing them from?
I don't have 100% details, but I do know they're going to have some sort of ribbon cutting, I guess, on our side of the Gordie Howe Bridge. I also heard, like all of you did, that President Trump is making comments that it's not going to be open. That's detrimental for people in the U.S., detrimental for Canadians. We want goods to be flowing across our borders consistently. Our other bridge sees about $1 billion a day flow across that bridge. So let's hope President Trump has a change of heart on this, because it hurts his economy, and it'll hurt ours too.
I can't help but think it would hurt both sides. I mean,
just wondering why.
Wait,
Yeah.
he goes on to ask, "Will you be attending the ribbon cutting?"
oh, okay.
It's funny.
Well, it's just basically a ribbon cutting. I'll be attending once we actually open the bridge and we're actually driving across. I can't wait to drive across that bridge. But yeah, I'm not going to be there until that happens, and hopefully it's going to happen sooner than later.
So I have no idea what went down here. Miscommunication from somebody, or this is some sort of stunt to put the onus on Trump to actually get the bridge going. Do you hear the guilt trip that Doug Ford's using there? Well, a lot of people are waiting on this, and the onus is kind of on him,
I mean, this is egos at a very high level, and behind the scenes, I mean, there's a lot of people on both sides. There's guaranteed there's people on both sides that want this bridge open. I mean,
sure.
No, crazy. Interesting choice of a name, by the way, right? I mean, Gordie Howe is not an Ontarian or an American. Gordie Howe is a guy from Saskatchewan. Great, famous hockey player, but he played for Detroit. So I guess it's a bit of an homage. I wonder who picked the name, or is it going to be called a different thing on both sides of the border, right? I've seen that too, right? Like it's called whatever halfway through, but
the ambassador's always been the ambassador. And
they usually have names like the Ambassador Bridge. Where's the Peace Bridge? Is that the one in Niagara or someplace like that? Isn't there a Peace Bridge? I think there is.
Peace or Rainbow Arch or something
like that. Yeah.
Peace Arch is out here, but it's not really a bridge, just a crossing.
Yeah, get the damn bridge open, folks. Park your egos for a few minutes. Don't worry about your
Well, wow. Yeah, get the damn bridge open. Settle with Trump. It's okay. Here's the thing. It's Ontario's premier. It's David Eby. It's Mark Carney that are prolonging the inevitable on this. They're prolonging.
Eby. What'd you bring Eby into this?
Oh, because Eby's been he's a smaller character in the whole thing,
but he's annoying. Yeah.
The annoyance on the American side by EB was like, instead of just blanket no alcohol sales in Ontario stores like Doug Ford's done, it's only red states can't sell their alcohol in British Columbia. You can get your California wine and your whatever,
but you can't get your Tennessee bourbon. Yeah, what a piece of
as long
shit.
as it was made by somebody who voted for Kamala. It's really, it's asinine. And guess what? Americans at the end of the day don't give a shit, don't care. And that's really the thing that is crazy. Actually,
The numbers, like the numbers in some of those things are mind blowing, right? Like, I'm sure Jack Daniels doesn't really lose a lot of sleep by not selling to BC, right? I mean, Jack Daniels sells all over the world, and BC's not buying our stuff. Boo-hoo.
No, they're annoyed by it.
Yeah,
So-
they're annoyed, but because
they're
of course
annoyed.
you want your market, you don't want to lose it on purpose. But yeah,
exactly. And they're annoyed by Doug Ford, but the annoyance doesn't make them want to settle with Ontario and because Americans are much more patriotic than Canadians ever will be. It's unbelievable. Mike Myers will come up and encourage the prime minister to screw over the economy. Sure. That's patriotism.
Carney's changed his tone, right? By the way, I think we talked a little bit about this last week, but he's changed his tone. He knows it's not working for him to antagonize the U.S. that much, and he is paying for it dearly. I can show you. I mean, I could have set up a whole stream, and I could have showed you 15 graphs this morning that shows how we're losing the trade war, not a little bit, but in a big way. And people people who know around Carney, I'm sure, are telling him, "Hey, dude, like, okay, enough of the bullshit, right? Like, this is getting real, and we're hurting." And like, he's got disgruntled MPs. He has a lot of disgruntled MPs. Like,
but
Guilbeault,
not enough to do anything about it.
No, not enough to do anything about it, but enough to make him change a little bit, right? I mean, he's toning it down. He's toning it down.
I think that there's a extra worldly or an extra, outside of our nation initiative that's happening in Canada and has been happening since Trudeau got elected. And I don't think that they're going to stand in the way. Like, I think, Trudeau was the young global leader for the World Economic Forum. Mark Carney's in the same ilk. They believe in the same crap. Mark Carney wrote about this crap in his book, Values. I think Carney's here to complete a job. He's not here to maintain popularity and be this prime minister that does this or that and excites a bunch of boomers from
no, I agree. He's here to complete a job, but in order to complete his job, he needs tools. For instance, a tool that he needs to complete his job is he needs to be able to offer patronage appointments to people to do some shitty jobs, right? The Mark Millers of the world who are saying, "Hey, I'm all in favor of Bill C-33 or 34." No, you're not. You look completely uncomfortable promoting it, but you're doing it because Carney promised you something. The chipmunk doing the gun ban, he's a fucking idiot. He's a complete moron who can't, but he's doing it because, but Carney's ability to get people to do that is running out because people are looking at Carney going, "Why would I do anything for you now? Because your time is limited." I mean, yeah, we never talked about Trudeau. Let's not talk about Trudeau, but you mentioned Trudeau. I mean, he was in the news this week too. What an ass, literally.
After the comments, if you want.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. All right, before we get to the comments, Marty, where can people find you?
Marty Up North on X and Marty Up North on YouTube. Please come see me on X. I'm still we're all in the same boat, man. Conservatives have to help each other. Just come say hi, like a comment, do something just like Trish said. Those likes and those hearts, they go a long way to help the algorithm because we're being throttled, man.
Oh, big time. Big time. Well, hopefully things shape up for us once I'm down and making these videos from Texas.
It'll be interesting to see if things change, right? If the algorithm immediately detects that you're somewhere else. I think it will.
I agree. I think things are happening, and I think that they're meddling with the numbers here in Canada. Anyway, let's get to some of these comments. Got one from I am conservative boomer. That's Trish.
Got a new picture. Yeah.
Got a new picture. Nice one, Trish. Thank you for the $6.99. Says, Hi, Clyde Marty. If Marty can't handle nose hair removal, he wouldn't handle being a woman. LOL. Hit that like button, everyone. Yeah.
It definitely made my eyes water. I wasn't expecting that. But he had a trick. I think he pushed on my nose, or I don't know if it was done to distract, right? He pushes on the nose and then he yanks, kind of like pull the Band-Aid kind of thing.
I don't know if I can do it. I don't know
if I'll do it again. I don't know if I'll do it again. First time, maybe once, and that's it. Yep.
Fair enough. Got another one here right away from Light for 5. Says, did you see the cheating in California? Holy moly! Tuned in late. So if it was discussed, we'll watch later. Thank you. Good to see you both. Thank you. Thank you. Absolutely. No, we didn't discuss the cheating in California. Do you know anything about it, Marty?
No.
Oh.
I've been distracted by what's going on in Ireland right now. Is what's been fascinating me. And
holy crap! Yes.
yeah.
Well, I'll give you the quick TLDR. So there was I told you about this guy Spencer Pratt, who's running for mayor of LA, and it was one of those ones where Republicans from all over America were saying, well, we're gonna go in there and we're gonna vote for Spencer Pratt, but you can't ask for my ID because that would be racist or whatever.
Oh,
right?
God. Yeah.
So, that was a joke, but the turnout was great, and Spencer Pratt was doing quite well, and it looked like it was going to go to a runoff for him and the incumbent. And what ended up happening was they had to take their time to count the votes. And I don't even know how many days it's been. It's been a ridiculous amount of days for them to count the votes. And I think they're almost at like a month or whatever. It's crazy to count these votes and haven't made a decision yet. And they keep getting in these batches of new votes. And all the new batches of votes have been all going towards another candidate that was like not even a runner-up. And it boosted her into basically the number 2 position above Spencer Pratt, so that it would be her against the incumbent in the general election. And
so
yeah,
it's not really cheating, or why would Light say cheating, or was it cheating?
Because it looks like it's cheating.
It looks like cheating. Okay.
It looks absolutely like cheating. So like every one of these ballot dumps keeps coming in, and it's like, oh, it's all for this one candidate who lost every other dump during the actual election, and not only that, lost her own district. So her own district where she's from, she lost there. So like, why is she winning in all these other places? It's absolutely insane. And the fact that they just keep extending it because they keep coming up with new ballots and new it's gross. It's gross. And it's like a teaser for what I think Newsom's going to try to do in a presidential bid. It's freaking nuts. But yeah, Ireland, crazy situation. I can't show the video of what happened because it's so
you
graphic.
can or can't. You can't. No, you cannot.
No. So for people who don't know, the story is that some jihadi dude attacked a local in Ireland. So a newcomer, a new Irish person, comes in and screaming religious, aloha snack bar stuff, and is attacking this guy. And people somebody starts recording, and someone's like, this guy's attacking him, what's going on? And then he starts going at him with a knife, and people are like, oh my god, he's trying to behead this person. And so some dude comes up with there's a particular sport in Ireland, I'm not familiar with it, but they have a bat that's
hurling.
It's hurling. Okay,
hurling,
I don't.
Yeah, it's kind of our lacrosse. It's no, not kind of like, it's more like field hockey, but instead of on the ground, it's up in the air. It's a nasty sport, baseball bats basically.
They're nasty what he did with the bat, but it was completely justified. So he took the guy out with a number of swings to the head with that bat, and saved the guy's life. But in the process, that video got out, and it went to social media. And immediately people are like, enough is enough. Like, we keep bringing these people in and they keep doing these things. What the hell are we doing as a society?
Well, and Ireland's an interesting place, right? Like, I mean, they're neutral in the war. Then after the war, World War II, they spent the next 40 years fighting among themselves. You know what I mean? And now, and they're thugs, right? Like, Irish guys are just badasses, right? And so I don't know, man. You might have poked a bear there, and they might have awakened a giant a movement. I hope it does. I hope it does. We need one of these nations to say enough is enough is enough is enough. Like, that's it. Enough is enough, right? And I think Ireland could be the one that does it.
It's been rearing up all over the place. I mean, Japan, for example, they just there's Muslims are coming in and they're saying that Japanese have to change the traditions for burial and all that stuff. Their prime minister recently just told them to stuff it, and if they want to bury in a Muslim traditional way, they can ship them out and have
Put
them
on a
buried
plane and go over. Yeah.
like, no, we're not going to bend to your will. And this has turned out to become one of those things. So God Sad calls it the
suicidal empathy. Yep.
And it's this idea that, you know, people come in and then you want to be empathetic and you want to be, you know, courteous to their traditions or this or that. But no, that can't be the ball game. What it has to be is, we have a society and things are great here. And you want to leave your backward place because things are not great in that backward place. Leave your traditions at the door, leave all that crap at the door, and come on in. Yes, bring your fun dance and your fun, maybe your clothing and your you know, food or whatever. Throw that in the melting pot. But everything that makes your country bad, it's got to stay behind. And you become one of us. And you don't have enclaves where you refuse to become one of us. You become one of us, or there's the door. And that's the idea.
No, I like, I mean, I'll pick on the Muslims. I've accommodated them. I hired many Muslims over the years. And it's like, oh, you want to pray 5 times a day? That's cool. Close the door to your office. I'll respect that. But you can pray for about 5 minutes in your office, but don't pretend to be in there for an hour. No, you know, I'll accommodate. Pray for 5 minutes in your office. But then when you come to the YMCA and you want a curtain across the pool so that the girls are separate from the boys, fuck off.
Yeah.
Like, piss off. That's not how we do it in this country. So I'll accommodate your some of your things, but otherwise, you don't eat during Ramadan, during daylight hours. That's great. Then go sit in your office and do whatever the hell you want. But we're in the lunchroom here, and I'm having a freaking bacon, lettuce, and tomato sandwich.
With pork.
Yeah, absolutely. And extra bacon bits.
And that's the thing. Like, Jewish people, they have similar things. They don't eat pork and all that stuff. That's never been a problem. Never been a problem. And you know, some people say Jews run the world, whatever. I don't buy it, but like, you're talking about people who have integrated into society and they've never pushed their ideas onto everybody else. If you come into society and you can't assimilate and become part of the culture, well, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Not sorry. There's a place for you to do that. You can, well, you know what? We'll even help you out. We'll even raise funds for your one-way ticket on out of here. And that's it. Self-deport. Or if it's miserable for you, well, it's just going to be miserable. Maybe it's just not the right place for you. That's kind of where I'm at. So the Irish people right now, you know, you see like leftist riots and they go and they burn down their own stuff. And it's usually because they're just trying to hurt entrepreneurs, because leftists hate they hate the market economy. So they just want to hurt that. No, this is not what's happening in Ireland. Yes, there's riots and there's fires, but they've gone to the places where the government houses newcomers and they're burning them down. That's what they're burning down. And they're saying, we can't have it. It's not for us. You can't have it either. End of story. Get out. That's what people are saying. That's the message.
Yeah. Wow.
It's crazy. It's crazy, and it's waking up like a beast everywhere. Poland, for example, Poland does not allow any of the migrants in, and a lot of people are bringing this up. They're saying, "Listen, Poland's not an accommodating place for Muslims. It's not an accommodating place for migrants. Why do they want to be in there so bad? They won't get free accommodation. They won't get
Yeah, well,
treated
no,
nice. Why are they really forcefully? It's because there's there's a message from
it well, it's like I used to openly say, it's a slightly different topic but similar. I used to openly say I don't hire liberals, and people say, well, that's not fair. I'm like, I don't fucking hire liberals. Okay. Why would you want to work for me? I hate you anyways. Well, you got better jobs. I'm like, well, then maybe you should go learn to do better jobs on your own. But I'm like, there's maybe the reason my jobs are better is because I'm not a brain dead fucking liberal. So like, like exactly. Right. Like, yeah, it's, and by the way, as I'm getting older, it's not just, I'm opinionated. I always have been, but I get people call me all the time now from our side. I even get true diehard conservatives come up to me and mention things and mention bad ideas. There's bad ideas everywhere, right? And I'm not shy. When somebody brings up a bad idea to me, I will literally tell a diehard conservative, that's a stupid idea and you're an idiot. And people sometimes are shocked at me. I'm like, dude, I think we need more people. You need to be told that your idea is dumb. Okay. Just as simple as that. I don't just pick on Muslims or immigrants or Jews or pride or gays or whatever. I will pick on my own people. If you come to me with a stupid idea, I will tell you to your face, that's a really stupid idea.
Yeah,
I'm doing you a favor.
No, it's great because, like, okay, so for example, I've said all the things that I just said, and there's going to be a bunch of people in the sidelines to say, oh, you've changed your opinions, Clyde, you're blah blah blah, you railed against us because of this. And to them I say, no, I don't stand with guys like the guys with the Second Sons organization or Dominion Society. Those guys take it a step further, and then they make it like, oh, anyone with this complexion has got to go, and we're going to ship them all out. And how we're going to do it is they actually wrote this up. They wrote this up on their website. How we're going to do it is suspend civil liberties so that we can pick and choose who gets to come and go. And it's like, no. I stand on liberty, and I'm not going to take, I don't like it when the liberals want to, give you this like for your safety bullshit and suspend civil liberties. I'm not going to get the same thing from the other guys that are like, wow, we'll suspend civil liberties and all those undesirables will be gone. No, that's not how.
No, I'm the same way. I play. It's a game I have fun playing with, right? I can get just about anybody to do backflips, mental gymnastics.
Mm-hmm.
And then yes, and that's where you can expose people's hypocrisy, and that's what you're saying there. I mean, if you're going to suspend civil liberties to protect liberties, then you're being a hypocrite, right? So, yeah,
not helping. And so here's one more scene I got to show you. This was because it's not just happening in Ireland, it's not just happening in France and Germany and all these other places. It's happening right here in Canada. This was on June 7th. At the Canadian, was it Shahid Nagar Kirtan in Brampton? There was a parade float with children dressed up with, I can't even say the word, but they had exploding vests on, let's just say. And another depiction of a woman in front of a firing squad being shot at. And it's like, this is just, I mean, it's inexcusable. It's absolutely inexcusable. And I mean, yeah, you got Modi there.
It's not even Canada anymore. Let's be realistic, right? Brampton is not Canada. Like they might as well. It's a little enclave inside the country. It's its own shithole now.
But that's the thing. We shouldn't have enclaves. If people come to Canada, become Canadian. And if you can't become Canadian, well, it's not the place for you, right? That's exactly how it is. Now, people would say, well, the Italians didn't become. Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did. Now, maybe they changed our culture a little bit and it changed it for the better, but like, this is not the better. This isn't
No, the Italians, the Poles, all the nations before, they changed their culture so much they changed their names, man. I know all sorts of people who changed their names to fit in more, right? Like if your last name was Piniochinsky and you wanted to fit in, you change your name to whatever, Peters, and then that's how much they wanted to fit in. That's literally how much they wanted to fit in. Right? Yeah. They weren't. Yeah,
it's admirable, man. It's admirable. You're willing to change your name for the country so you can be a part of the community. That's great. When you refuse to become part of the place that you've moved to, you're just an invader. You've just invaded. That's all you're trying to do. It's the only thing that you're accomplishing at that point. And
we could have stopped some of this 25 years ago. I remember the uproar 25 years ago when we said, "Oh, we're going to allow our CMP officers to wear turbans," and people back then were like, "No, and we should have just realized, no, that's our culture is not a turban. Our culture is whatever, a hat, a different kind of hat." But no, we accommodated, and it doesn't stop. Accommodate until Brampton happens.
So something I'll never agree with, I've never agreed with before, is the idea of giving people exemptions from rules. If you write a rule, if you write a law and it goes into the books and it doesn't work because it's flawed, because it negatively affects a particular group of people in society, the law should be stricken from the record. It should be gone. It should be repealed. And then that's it. Then figure out a new law that's more perfect. Because what ends up happening when you make particular rules, like in Britain right now, a guy was complaining because for justified reasons, he was saying a Sikh guy with a kirpan can go in with a dagger onto a plane and it's no problem, but he can't bring in a large shampoo bottle for your safety.
Or knitting needles. Yeah, he can't bring knitting needles, but he can bring yeah. Hey, by the way,
it's freaking insane.
Did you see the story this week of the Air Canada pilot who 14 years without a license? He's been flowing and he's Air Canada just discovered that this guy was not an actual pilot, but he's been flying for 14 years.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah. What's that movie that was based on that?
Just wing it? I'm sorry. I'm a dad. I had to say it.
Just wing it. Yeah, no, it was like the Leonardo DiCaprio story, right? The Catch Me If You Can. This guy guy knew how to fly, but he wasn't a licensed pilot, and somehow or other, it took 14 years for Air Canada to figure out that one of their pilots was unlicensed.
No way.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not even mad. I'm impressed. That's funny.
It's just a skill. I mean, you can learn it, I suppose, right? I mean, obviously he knew how to fly a plane. He'd been doing it for a long time. But yeah,
like actually then acquiring a real license, I guess he couldn't expose the fraud.
Yeah, I don't know. The story broke today, so I'm sure we'll hear. We'll probably hear more about it tomorrow on the internet. But the story broke today.
That's pretty funny. All right, let's get to some of these questions. Where are we? We've got Winiska for 5. Thank you so much, Winiska. It says mail-in ballot scam, and they use a gym membership for ID. Oh, for the California. Yeah. What a scam. What a scam.
Our referendum here in Alberta will not allow mail-in ballots. I'm glad for that. I think they should cancel mail-in ballots across the board. I also think we've gone too far with special ballots, and then we've gone way too far with advanced polling. Advanced voting should be one day. Just one day to give a little bit of opportunity to people. You know, the day of the election is October 19th. But you happen to be on vacation, sure, there's one day, 2 weeks before. And if you can't make it because you're gone for 3 months, then, well, so be it. Too bad. Like, it's
absentee ballot. You don't have to have a leeway thing. You have absentee ballot. You do a mail-in because you won't be there at the time. And you have a legitimate excuse, and you say, like, I will not be in the country from this day to this day, and you have to show evidence of it. All of that stuff, and then you can get a mail-in ballot, and the mail-in ballot has to be there a week in advance so that it can be counted on the day. Like, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. But all of this stuff where like, oh, we got mail-in ballots and they haven't all come in because the mail, registered mail or whatever. No, if it's not there on the day, it doesn't get counted. Like that's like showing up to the ballot box a week late and being like, oh, I'm here to vote. No,
Yeah. No.
you're not. You missed
No,
the
and
day.
then the second half of that, like gym memberships. Like again, that's getting ridiculous here in Alberta. I can't speak for other provinces, but in Alberta, if you go to the web on voting, there's about 47 forms of ID that you can present. You can sign an affidavit saying I'm a legit resident of Alberta, and here's a prescription bottle with my address on it, and they'll take it. Like the prescription bottle is valid ID. I'm like, holy shit, man! Like,
Are you shitting me?
No, not shitting you, man. There's 40, 50 different things. Like, yeah, gym membership. That's. I'm sure that's valid. It's got my picture on it. Like, yeah,
That's crazy. No, government ID, driver's license,
passport,
anything like that.
birth certificate. Yeah.
My little guy jumped in here and he's like, Dad, can I hang out? I'm like, no, I'm still doing the show. Go on. I'll hang out with you after. Oh, cool little dude.
How is it ringing with them? Is it registering that they're moving?
Oh yeah. Well, they're seeing boxes everywhere. So yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we've moved. We've had to move a bunch.
Move, but never. I mean, this is new school, new big moves, right? Like how many times have they've gone from say kindergarten to grade school, but not. This is a whole new school. This is a big move. This is cool. Hopefully.
Yeah. Well, it's working out for my daughter because it's right at the middle school time change.
It was going to change schools anyways. Yeah.
Yeah. So that works. So that works out. So yeah, we're all everything's gonna be great. Everything's gonna be great. And I'll fill more people in on all the details once everything's settled and the dust is
I used to move a lot when I was younger. I moved the family quite a few times, so the kids got used to moving. And I remember they'd be a little upset, and then I learned tricks. Like I remember telling Nick, think about it as if you got drafted and you're playing hockey for a new team. Then after that, it's like, oh, okay. So then he'd sit on the bench and be all proud. I got drafted. I'm on a new team. I'm like, there you go.
That's great.
Don't be embarrassed by your black gloves. The last team you worked for had black gloves. The team you're on now has blue gloves. Don't worry about it. Like
the kids are definitely excited to not have so much rain and not so much cold weather.
Yeah. Good for them. Awesome.
Nice. It's nice. I'm going to definitely get the good insurance for hail because I hear that's a thing.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Hail. Yeah. You guys get hail out in Alberta, right?
I had to replant my whole garden. We had a hailstorm, an epic one. I posted a picture of it on Instagram last week. We had an epic hailstorm. Just destroyed the whole garden.
That's devastating.
Yep.
So.
Not the whole garden. I mean, potatoes, carrots, those kinds of things are okay. But cucumbers, tomatoes, done. Demolished.
Like how big was the hail?
Marble size, like not giant, but I mean, tomato plants, and especially if they got tomato plants are fragile. Cucumbers are extremely fragile. They just don't handle. We go out there and put tarps, try to protect them all. No, too late. Hail.
No way. So the hail just hits them, and it's like shooting it with a Red Ryder BB gun kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Plus, it accumulated so much; it literally looked like it covered the whole ground. Was white. And actually, keep talking. I'll find the video. I'll elevate the video real quick, and people can see it. It's discouraging.
The only thing I've been worried about and now that I know that it's a gardening concern, because we love gardening, so that's one of the things I want to try to avoid. And it would be nice to not smash my windshield with I've heard of golf ball and even softball size hail. And it just comes up out of nowhere. So when we were in Texas, go to my Twitter. Go to your Twitter. On our last
trip, I put it up.
On our last trip to Texas, we stopped at a restaurant and it was a sunny day, and it said it was going to rain. We're like, okay, when's that going to happen? And so we're sitting in the restaurant, and suddenly sky just got really dark, and then it was just like tons of
Yeah.
rain. The lights flickered in the restaurant. There's lightning and stuff. And then like we were talking to the waitress, and she was such a lovely lady with a Mexican accent. And we're like, oh, we're worried about having to go out to our car now. And she's like, oh no, I just checked the app. It's going to end in 6 minutes. And we're like, what? 6 minutes? You can She's like, yeah, no, please. And 6 minutes later, she comes back. It's sunny
Fun.
again. And she's like, see, I told you. It's 6 minutes. We're good. Oh, it was funny. It was, yeah, awesome. And it was the first time my family got to have authentic Tex-Mex. So that was fun. Anyway, let's get this. It's at the very top. This is the hailstorm
Yeah.
right here.
I just filmed it from the back door just to.
Oh, crazy.
So it just starts like that, but it kept on going, and it was a coldish. So that basically the whole garden becomes covered in ice, and it's about, the hail get in the garden, it accumulates in the little troughs or whatever, and then it doesn't melt. So then all the cucumbers are surrounded by ice. Well, that just kills everything.
Oh, it
So
kills them. Oh, I was thinking
Yeah.
the impacts from it, but it's the ice.
the impact will also kill them. It damages the leaves, but more importantly, it's just it's just hail.
See, out here in British Columbia, we get something that's called grapple. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
So it looks like, people call it hail, but it's not hail. It's like a weird kind of snow that forms in a ball, and it looks like little tiny styrofoam balls.
I've seen that. Yes, I've
super
seen
light.
that. I've seen that. Yeah.
Super light, and like there's no danger of it.
No,
at
this
all.
is ice cubes. Like if I scoop it up and put it in a glass, it has weight to it, and when it melts, it's very solid, like it's ice. And it takes a long time. Those little balls, they sit there, and they were there right until the afternoon. Like you sweep them off the deck, but in the grass, they were in the grass until late in the afternoon. When you were telling your story about the hail or of the lady, like when me and Karen did a trip to Ecuador a couple of years ago, and we went to the rainforest, and we had to take this sort of, call it a canoe trip to the lodge, and the guy gives us this big folded poncho, right? And I'm like, what do I do with this? And because we had our own rain gear, he's like, your rain gear is not enough, right? And what do we do with this poncho? Is like, when I tell you to put it on, put it on. And the boat's just moving, and then it's black. The sky is so black, and all of a sudden he's like, put on your poncho. Is like, okay, and everybody in the boat's putting on their poncho, and it's like, bang, you're smacking into a wall of rain. Like the cloud just opens up, and then the boat's going, you're being pelted by this rain, and then all of a sudden you come out on the other side and there's no rain. Now you can take off the poncho for a few minutes, and then 3 minutes later the guy will go, put your poncho back on. It's like, holy shit. And then and I think Texas gets like that, right? There's walls of rain in Texas at certain times of the year. Yeah,
we witnessed it. Yeah, and it didn't last that long. So when we were
long enough to make a flash flood, which can be critical. You're going to learn about flash floods, right?
Yeah.
There's areas where they tell you, like, don't hang out here in a rainstorm because yeah.
And there's floodplains everywhere. Like there's all these like areas where ditches and big ditches where like water can go, and the culverts and stuff are huge. That you can tell they're not fooling around when it comes to that.
I've worked in Houston, and you would see it on the highways, right? You get an underpass, and all of a sudden there's a rainstorm, and the underpass has 4 feet of water, and people know, like, it's deceiving, but there's a lot of water. That's because their land is so flat, right? They got these huge expanses. The slope looks miniature, but if you do 10 miles with a 3-inch slope and all the water comes into one spot, that's why they get those flash floods. I mean,
that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's huge. And
you're going to have to learn a whole bunch of new things, right? I mean, critters, you're going to have to learn about critters. That's something you have to teach your kids, right? I have a wood pile behind the house, right? We make little fires in the backyard, and I have a wood pile, right? Mm-hmm. Logs and stuff like that. I'll go to the wood pile and grab a log, throw it on the fire. In Texas, man, you do not just go to a wood pile or a brush pile and grab branches, because there could be, they got shit that bites you down there. Like,
yeah, well,
they got lizards, they got snakes, they got all sorts. Like, you got to get used to that, right? I wouldn't be used to that.
Well, there's from what I understand, there's wolf spiders, which
Sure.
can give you a nasty bite. Black widows, which are a little more timid, but they'll give you a nasty bite if you get one from them. I was talking to one lady at the airport, and she said scorpions as well, but then she's like, yeah, but I live in Texas my whole life, and I've seen 7 scorpions maybe in the entire time, and like 4 of them were in one day.
It's still more than I've ever seen in my lifetime, but
fair enough. then there's snakes. Rattlers will let you know that they're there. Copperheads won't. You gotta watch out for them. There's water snakes you gotta watch out for. There's
there's a few. I mean, you got to get used to that. Different climate, different animals that you'll get used to it, but you got to get used to it. That's all.
Yeah,
Like,
the weather's funny though, because when we went,
you got to get used to starting your car in summer instead of starting it in winter, right? We start them in winter to warm them up. They start them in summer to cool them off.
Down, yeah. And then there's all like, I gotta take the thing out of the windshield, so it's the big shade out of the windshield. But the one thing that was interesting when we went there, we were bummed out because we were coming back from Tokyo that had been sunny the whole time. And we get to Texas, and the weather forecast just said rain every single day for the whole week that we were there. And we learned really quick that when it says rain on the forecast, it doesn't mean rain all day. It's not like British Columbia where it's a rainy day, it's rainy for a month. No, it's rainy for like 5 minutes sometimes. That's it. It's like, oh yeah, rain's in the forecast, but that's at like 5 o'clock. The rest of the day is going to be sunny and beautiful and all of that stuff. Kind of reminded me of growing up in southwestern Ontario, where you had the lake effect. And, in the springtime, it felt like clockwork growing up, where you'd be at school, it'd be hot all day, or, you're doing your thing on the weekends, it's hot all day. And then right around dinner time, the sky gets really dark and then just
predictable, right? Like same time every day kind of thing. Yeah.
Pretty much. And it would just happen, just sporadic or like suddenly. And then, you might have tornado warnings, big lightning storms, electrical storms, sometimes hail, not tons of hail, but I have witnessed it, but like mostly they're just like torrential downpours. And then half an hour later, it's sunny again and it's really humid. And that would be the thing. It would cool you off kind of quick, and then it would just get really humid and hot again. That was my experience. Anyways, get back to some of these comments. Got Roscoe Pico, welcome back. Member for 43 months. Can you believe that? Says, have a great trip. I'm sorry, have a great time up in Sunshine, Marty. You're going to the Sunshine Coast. That's coming up pretty soon.
I'll do the show with you next week, and then I leave on Thursday. It'll take me a day to drive to Vancouver. Then where am I going in Vancouver? What we talked about this. What's the terminal? The big terminal, the first one.
You're going to Horseshoe Bay.
Yeah, I'm going to Horseshoe Bay, and then from Horseshoe Bay, I'm taking one ferry. I can't remember where. Then driving a little bit, then taking a second ferry to, I can't remember the name, and then driving past Powell River. Is that what it's called? Powell River or Powell? Yeah, Powell River, and then going all the way. And actually, in Powell River, some guy's picking us up there. That's where. No, he's picking us up further. I can't remember, but we gotta. No, one guy's driving us 180 kilometers because that's the distance we're walking back. So I'm walking 180 kilometers back.
Holy cow!
Yeah, hopefully it's not. Why is it called the Sunshine Coast? Please tell me it's because there's sunshine, or is it going to be rainy? Like, what am I stepping into?
End of June, it's probably going to be sunny. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's probably going to be sunny. But it's hit and miss. It could be rainy. I mean, it is what it is. Some years even into like the first week of July is just downpour all the time.
Yeah, the videos I've seen, it looks like rainforest by my standard. I mean, the trees are big cedars, big green trees. Like, it looks fucking wet. Like, it looks wet. Doesn't look dry.
Yeah, the nice thing about out here in British Columbia, though, like when you're under the canopy, the canopy soaks up all the rain.
Right.
So it it's not like torrential downpour here most of the time. What it does, it's just this rain that just kind of saturates everything. And if you're not in a forested area, you're just wet. You're just wet all the time. It sucks working outdoors, that kind of thing. But if you're in the forest under the canopy, a lot of times it's dry. It's dry inside the canopy.
Okay, good.
Especially if it's a
Yeah.
light rain. If it's a light rain. But you know how the coniferous trees, they crowd out the canopy and they're super tall up. So yeah, that's what it does. It creates.
Yeah, no, I experience the same thing. I mean, when I'm hiking in the mountains here and it's raining, if I'm below the tree line, I can get underneath some big spruces and I stay relatively dry. But boy, if I'm above the tree line and it starts to rain, I am miserable. Then that's dangerous. Actually, you got to get the hell out of the tree, away from that. But yeah, I look forward to it. I mean, it's
we tried to plan something, but it just didn't work out.
No, well, I mean, I'm with a friend too, and so there's two of us, and the logistics, and we have to hit the ferries at a very like. How many times are there ferries? Are there ferries like every 5 hours, every 4 hours, or something like that?
Every couple hours.
Every couple of hours. But I mean, we had some logistics, like we have to be at certain places at certain time. The one guy who's picking us up seems to be a bit of an ass. Like, I'll pick you up at this time, and if you're late, every 2 minutes you're late, I charge $5. I'm like, whoa, like, dude, this ain't this ain't an Uber in the middle of like you're.
Yeah, you asked me to come with.
No. We pay. No, we're paying a guy. Not my friend. We're paying a guy to drive us.
Okay.
Yeah, and so he's charging us an arm and a leg for that journey. Otherwise, we'd have to bring two cars and go back and forth. It's going to cost a few bucks. The logistics are complicated.
Yeah, it's too bad because we were hoping to do a get together again before we get out of here, and then I don't think I'll be able to. That's just the way it goes.
Yeah,
it is what it is. But we can always do one in Austin.
Oh yeah.
Down the road. That's always another choice. Let's get to another one of these. We got Light for 5 says Raman and Karen Bass got caught by James O'Keefe bribing homeless people $3 to $5 to vote Democrat. I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it whatsoever.
Jeez. Yeah. That's cheap.
Corruption. That is pretty cheap. Corruption's insane. Yeah, normally if you want a legitimate vote, it costs a lot more than that.
A legitimate vote. I saw somewhere that in the US have very good statistics on that. Like, just getting one legitimate vote is something like $40-$50. I mean, you got to spend the money to get it.
Yeah, no kidding. Marty, my teeth are floating. Do you think you can hold for a moment?
Yeah, I can hold for a few minutes. I won't read the questions. There aren't that many, but I'll just keep talking. Yeah, actually, the reason I know how much it costs to get a vote is it's similar to what we just went through getting the signatures on the referendum, right? So the independence group, we got 300,000 signatures. And the advertising and the time and the budget and everything else we had to do to get that, like with all the money spent by the different third-party advertisers, they're called, it was millions of dollars. So it's like $2-3 per signature to get, and that's just a petition signature. If you want to convince people to vote, it's not cheap anymore. I guess Americans, Donald Trump spent something like $1 billion, not of his own personal money, but I mean, that's the kind of money an American needs to win the presidency. So that's not cheap. Apparently, our little referendum here, the estimate is that it's going to cost $100 million just for a referendum in Alberta at the end of October of this year. That seems a little steep to me. But I guess running elections and democracy is not cheap anymore.
No, it's not cheap.
Yeah. Hey, and that was a funny thing. Like, we have a referendum, right? So there's a referendum in October, and then they announced, I was just saying, Elections Alberta said that they're looking for 60,000 people, which is what they hired during an election, right? Yep. And then it's funny to watch the NDP here do backflips, like complaining about 60,000 people. I'm like, wow, since when is the NDP worried about 60,000 government jobs? Like, like...
Yeah, it'll boost the numbers. You can't do that. It'll make us
Yeah.
sad because the numbers will jump up. That was
Yeah.
another thing that recently came out. So Carney was bragging about the jobs numbers, and it turns out that all those jobs are really just temporary jobs.
They all are.
So
And
and it all coincides on a few different things, right? So StatsCan, for example, with the BS what do you call it, census, they had to hire a crap ton of people because this seems to be like the most uncompliant census that we've seen in recent modern history. So yeah, people just don't want to do that. They're hiring a lot of people to go enforce it. They're hiring a lot of
StatsCan, the CRA for the tax season, FIFA, all sorts of things. Yeah. There's no
And then
there's no real jobs.
projects. So there's construction projects that are government subsidized projects. This was reported by the Better Dwelling, and they mentioned that there's all these government projects that are going up. So it looks like there's private sector hiring going on when those are temporary jobs for government contracts. So they're contracts being bid out by contractors that are private, but it's temporary for government services that are being paid for.
The survey is people are posting pictures of their third and fourth notices, like this is your third notice, you need to complete the survey. People are really pissed off. They're not doing the survey. Like a lot of people are not. I got mine. I was lucky. We only got the short form one, which I did pretty quickly. I mean, there's nothing critical in there that they don't already know about us. I didn't get the one where they asked all your religion and your jobs and whether you sold your house and all that. Mine just asked like how many people, what sex, and how old are they. And so I answered that one.
I don't care. I didn't ask for that mail to be sent to me. I don't need to open it. Questions.
Yeah,
throw me in jail.
Throw me in jail with all the guys who aren't turning in their guns. Like actually you guys had a funny, I made a joke about you guys like Vancouver, right? There was that viral clip of the cops going on the beach in Vancouver trying to get people off the beach before you didn't see that one?
I didn't see that one.
Cops are going out of control everywhere, right? So this poor guy's sitting there on the beach watching the sunset or whatever, and some cop comes along and is like, "You got to leave," and he's like, "What do you mean I have to leave?" And it's like, "Well, whatever. City ordinance number 3398. You have to be off the beach by blah blah blah." The cop literally says like sunset is at 9:21 today, and I made a joke about that. I'm like,
well, the sun's up still. It hasn't set.
Yeah, but even then, you're the police officer. What are you going to do today? You're going to go home and your son's going to say, "Hey, Dad, how was your day at work?" And you're going to go, "Oh, great, son. I arrested a guy who was watching a sunset on the beach." You
can't. Yeah,
Dad, you're such a hero. Thank you. Like you've making life better for this country. Like folks, that's what we're boiling down to. Seriously, and again, we talked about this at the beginning of the show. If you're telling me that there's a couple of people that are causing problems on the beach because I don't know, maybe they're doing fireworks or they're polluting or they're doing garbage or something like that, then you don't need to ruin it for all of us on the beach. You go to the people who are misbehaving or doing something, and then you slap them with a ticket. I'm sure there's a ticket you can hit him with. And then the other guy who's sitting there with his girlfriend in his lawn chair, drinking an iced tea, watching the sunrise or sunset, ignore him. Don't worry about him. Don't worry about him. Worry about the others. Yeah. But that's the level we're at right now, right? They punish everyone for the actions of a bunch of idiots.
Yeah. And that's the here's the tragic part is they punish everybody for the actions of a couple of idiots, but the idiots will still go there and do it.
Yes, exactly.
And once it's been established that you're not allowed to go there anymore, the idiots take over, and then just only the idiots are there. Only the idiots are there.
Yeah.
You never have wholesome areas where people take their families and stuff. It's absurd. It's absolutely absurd. Again, getting more frustrated. Let's get on to the next one. Myron Ends for 20. Welcome back. Thank you for the 20. That's great. It says, don't forget that Clowney has a PhD. It stands for piled higher and
deeper. Yeah.
Deeper. Oh, wow.
Are you sure Carney has a PhD?
I think that no. Does he?
I didn't think so. I mean, he's maybe he does, but the reason I don't think he does is because he's such an egomaniac, and he's so that I would think that if he did, he'd be telling us all to call him Dr. Carney, right? You know what I mean? Like, he's the kind of asshole to be like, it's Dr. Carney. It's like, what do you have, a PhD in economics? I'm not calling you doctor. Does he have a PhD? Please tell me he doesn't. Yeah.
Shit, he does.
Really?
Yeah, Mark Carney has a PhD, specifically a DPhil. Don't tell me that's a Dr. Phil PhD. So, he earned a doctor of philosophy in economics from the University of Oxford in 1995. His doctoral thesis was titled "The Dynamic Advantage of Competition."
Okay, well, thanks for pointing that out, Myron. Then that explains a lot. Okay, so he is okay. I've always joked that he fancies
an MPhil. I don't know what that is. In economics from Oxford and a bachelor's degree in economics from Harvard.
No, it's a master of philosophy and a doctorate in philosophy. Yeah. But I mean, PhD always stands for philosophy doctorate to start with. I mean, that's like it's an honorary term. You know, they're all called PhDs. Like, it's a doctorate, and the PH, I'm pretty sure, stands for philosophy, but it doesn't mean you have a doctorate in philosophy. But it sounds like Carney might have one in actual philosophy. That's why I
kind of want to read his thesis now.
Oh my God. Well, no, okay. But actually, the rumor is that they plagiarized a lot of his thesis. Now it's coming back to me, right? I should have known that. Maybe I thought he had a master's, which explains a lot. He fancies himself a brilliant academic, and he's actually a moron. Like, he's
really, really good at reiterating talking points that corporo types want to hear.
Yeah.
And it's like the way to climb up the ladder. It's
word salad. He's better at word salad than Trudeau was. Trudeau just came out like a complete idiot, whereas Carney can almost sound intelligent, but he's actually saying absolutely nothing. I mean, his Davos speech was exactly what's that?
So Trudeau is good with a script. But
yeah.
If he had to say something on the fly, it was like bumbling idiot crap. Carney's much better at it.
Yeah. They're both evil. They're both idiots. They're both taking us down the wrong path. And
they're doing it intentionally, in my estimate.
Yeah. Wonder who they're going to bring in after Carney. Boy, the next cleanup guy is going to be a real nasty prick.
Available? I don't know. All right, let's move on. North 49 RC, welcome back. Thank you so much for the $10. He says, it's been decided the Alberta referendum can't be counted yet. They want to still count by elections that win Liberati by a slim margin. I think that's the Liberati that what's his name, Ezra Levant talked about, and he got sued over that book that he wrote. A handful of votes.
Oh, the Libranos. No,
there's the Libranos. Yeah,
the Libranos. Yeah.
Looks like cheating. No. Yeah, I think it looks like cheating. In my estimate.
It looks like cheating. I know what he's saying. It's not cheating, but it's definitely manipulating. I mean, right now, I don't like now that I've had a lot of time to digest what's happening, I realize we got played. I mean, the courts did what they did. The courts struck down the referendum, and then Danielle gave us something that's bullshit. And now she's piling in on it, and we're going to lose that referendum, and she'll just be able to say, oh, I did my best. And then she'll go back to Carney and say, pay me now what you owe me. It's not looking pretty.
That's dirty.
It was all dirty.
I heard a lot of support for Danielle is waning amongst the community of people that really wanted independence.
Well, Karen asked for something that I never thought she would ever ask for. She wanted me to get her a Conservative Party membership. I got it. We got her a Conservative member party, and then she's coming to the annual general meeting with me. And so I've turned it into a full-blown she's politically mad. You should be mad. She spent 120 hours side by side with me on the side of the road. And now she got
doing the right thing and doing it in a way that She got swindled.
She got to experience that democracy means nothing. She's like, what do you mean a judge could just do that? It's like, welcome to. Do you want to know about the judge, by the way? This is a Nova Scotia appointed military judge, lesbian, appointed by Trudeau to be, a patsy in Alberta, one of Alberta's courts. That girl doesn't give a shit about any consequences. She did what she had to do, and then that's it. Yeah, it's really cool when you wake up people like my wife and others, because people wake up eventually. It's like, yeah, you're not black pilled, but you got awakened. You got red pilled hard. Thank you. Welcome to you got red pilled really, really hard.
Welcome to the wanting to do something about it group.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. I got VIPT Cruiser for 2 says APAC Zionists have infiltrated U.S. government. Yeah, I mean, people keep saying that.
Enlighten me. What's an APAC? I don't know.
APAC is the Israeli lobby.
Oh,
I think
okay.
the Israeli lobby is a little bit too strong. I think they have a little bit too much power for foreign influence, and it's a little bit too comfortable, just having the APAC. But I'm not against a Jewish lobby. But
weirdly related. You have Netflix. Do you watch Netflix, or you don't have Netflix?
My kids watch Netflix, so I have.
Kids watch Tony. What's Kill Tony's real name?
Tony Hinchcliffe.
Hinchcliffe. I was going to say Hinshaw. Watch Tony Hinchcliffe's new Netflix special, and he's pretty savage. I mean, he's savage on everyone, right? He's always savage, but right at the beginning, he jokes. He's like, I've made fun of the whatever. He's like the Asians, the blacks, the gays, blah blah. And he's like, who am I forgetting? And then somebody says the Jews, and then he goes on, and it's like, yeah, it's pretty savage.
I love the joke that I think it was Norm Macdonald when he did the news on Saturday Night Live. That was like the best news ever, and he talked about. I think it was about Marlon Brando. So Marlon Brando had mentioned something about the Jews running everything in Hollywood, and people took offense to it. And he was like going through like an old day version of like cancel culture. And so he came out and apologized to it. And Norm Macdonald's remark was, and because he apologized about it, he's now welcome to work in Hollywood again.
Norm Macdonald is a treasure. Right, he was a treasure. I mean, all these guys like Tony and all those guys owe Norm a certain debt of gratitude, because he was a trailblazer. I mean, Norm Macdonald did not apologize. Like he lost his job on Saturday Night Live because they're like, "Can you stop with the O.J. Simpson jokes?" Yeah. And what did Norm Macdonald do?
Went harder.
I'm going to go harder, right? I mean, he got invited on like the predecessor of The View or whatever show it was, right? And same thing, he's talking about OJ, and they're like, "Oh,
Bill
really?"
Clinton. No, he called talking about Bill Clinton. Did you see that?
Right.
Oh, Bill Clinton. Yeah. When he killed a guy, and they're like, "Whoa, what are you saying?"
Whoa. Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was a matter of fact. Sorry, I just. I mean, I get. And they're like, "You can't say this." He's like, "Okay, I won't mention that Bill Clinton killed a guy."
Well, actually, it was Norm Macdonald driving in a car with
Barbara Walters. By the
no,
way.
he was driving in a car with Jerry Seinfeld, and something like, and the joke about like, what's the worst part about
Bill
Cosby or whatever?
Like, well, it's the hypocrisy.
No, it must have been the.
I thought it was all the raping.
Okay, we got to be careful because you're going to get demonetized on this video.
Norm Macdonald's a genius, man.
Well, Norm Macdonald resurfaces every year at Pride, too, because him and talking to Dennis Miller, like on the Dennis Miller show, when Dennis Miller asked Norm Macdonald, like, have you ever done a joke that was so offensive that even you regretted it? And then he tells his Pride joke, and it's pretty offensive, too. So it's a good one.
Well, he does that one joke where he goes on and he says something that people don't know about me. I'm a deeply closeted gay man. And he did this to who's that that famous interviewer guy, the skinny guy, always wear the suspenders on
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
I'm drawing a blank.
Larry
Larry King.
Larry
So
King.
He goes on Larry King. He says that, and Larry King's like, "Are you making an admission today with this?" He's like, "No." He's like, "You just said you're a gay man." He said, "No, I'm deeply closeted." He's just saying something. You can see the hamster wheel going in Larry King's head. Oh, too good. Yeah, Norm Macdonald, my favorite comic ever. He's so funny. My bad. Anyway, let's get back to this. It's devolving really, really quickly. Dirt McFerguson, still love that name. Thank you so much for 5. Says, I know a fair bit about the what's that prescribit thing? There was solutions out in the market before they started. I'll say more if you want. It's awful. Sorry, what's the prescribit thing? Are you aware of that?
No, unless he meant prescription and it just prescribe it must be an app or something.
Okay, it's Prescribe It, Canada's electronic prescription service. So it's Prescribe It. I was just saying it wrong. Yeah. Now that you mention it, I do recall something about a scandal that's going on in the government right now about this. I've been
Okay.
on other
Yeah,
stories.
I mean, it's got to be more wasted money, kind of like Arrive Can or one of those things.
What's this? Oh, it's from LinkedIn. Canada's Prescribe It cancellation sparks frustration over outdated health systems, as well as is it on Twitter? Sorry, I'm just gonna check real fast here. Prescribe It. Probably not spelling it. I might be spelling it wrong. Yeah. Anyway, here it is. Michael Green, CEO, responsible for 300 million Prescribe It scandal, and who taxpayers paid more than double the salary of the prime minister, has been fired. Conservatives at Health Committee exposed this how this liberal project completely failed to replace pharmacy fax machines with nothing to show for it. Oh, this is ringing bells now. Yeah, there was this program was supposed to get rid of fax machines. It's supposed to be like outdated technology, and then the government steps in.
We can talk about that one next week. We'll know more about it next week. And like that's near and dear to me, right? You know my story when I got my thumb infection and whatever, and then they did the test, and then I got my online test results. And I look at my test results, and even though I had my online test results, I'm like, they gave me the wrong drugs, right? The wrong medicine.
Holy crap.
And then I call the doctor, the doctor line. They're like, no, don't worry about it. If they gave you somebody will review your file. I'm like, well, I'm looking at my file here, and I can Google this on the internet. Don't worry about it. And then 3 days later, when I'm on my way up north to go hunting, I get a phone call from the doctor, one of the doctors saying, sorry, it looks like we gave you the wrong drugs. I'm like, no shit, Sherlock. And he's like, are you near a pharmacy? I'm like, well, I could probably stop one. They had to find a pharmacy that could take a fax. They sent a fax to the pharmacy. I'm like, you got all this beautiful information online that I can even access. And somehow or other, yeah, that's Canada right now. That's Canada. We are, yeah. Don't get
so Canada's not the only place that just like has legacy stuff like that. So when I worked at a bar in Japan, and Japan technologically quick to adapt to so many things, but that was one of the things that we had to have a fax machine, because when we'd order the alcohol at the end of the night, so the end of the night we'd do an inventory of the alcohol that we need for the next day, and we would do an order. The only way to do it was on a fax sheet. So we'd like fill out the thing and we'd fax it over to the place, and we just hope that they got it.
Yeah. No, we're so, and one of the reasons we can't progress is because of the incompetence in the government, the guys lining their pockets with this kind of money, and the unions and everybody else. Yeah, it's frustrating. I mean, the medical industry needs a huge reform, and it's just not happening. It's just That's frustrating. I mean, yeah, I like to get blood work done every year. I don't need to go to the doctor. All I need is the lipids, the blood work, and I can go and look at it myself and know. I don't need a doctor to tell me what my cholesterol is. The test is right there, and I can go on the internet and say, go, whatever, it's 2.8. I'm fine.
You
But
don't
nope.
need an interpreter.
Yeah, but I need to go to the doctor to get the requisition, which is bullshit. So then he charges somebody $75, I'm sure of it, and then he gives me a paper requisition, and then I need to show up at the lab with a paper requisition. I should be able to call the doctor and say, hey, doc, I want my blood work done this year. Fax over or send the request to the lab. And then when I show up at the lab, they should just go, oh, Mr. Boulanger, yes, we have your requisition right here. But it's all every year when I do it, it's 3 trips and bullshit. And then the test results come in, and then I got to call the doctor to, no, I just want my test results. Well, actually, I'm getting away from it now. Now I get the test results online, and I go, no, I don't need it. I don't need a follow-up visit, doctor. I saw the numbers, 2.8 looks perfect. I'm happy. Like
When I go to Japan, I can get all that stuff done. It's amazing.
Yeah. It
I've
should be
experienced
yeah.
what it's like in America. I've heard from many people it's amazing. You just go in and get what you need.
Yeah,
But
and I'd gladly pay, let's say I'd gladly pay $40 for all my blood work done if I could just show up at the lab and say, here's $40. Because right now I know that as a taxpayer, I'm paying $75 for it, or $80 or $100. God knows how much I'm paying for it, right? It's not free. So if I can avoid a trip to the doctor, I'll pay the $40 directly. That's the system we've become. Yeah, it's frustrating.
yeah, needing a referral. That's how
To get blood work. Yeah,
you
because
need a referral, but you need it from your family doctor. If you don't have a family doctor, well, who do you go to? So people go to clinics, and the clinics turn you away because we're not giving referrals. So where then do you go? The emergency room, and that's Canada. Everything is an emergency. You can't have there's no healthcare without emergency. It's freaking nuts.
Well, and the emergency rooms are shut down now most of the time. They operate on limited hours, which I found that completely bonkers, right? I mean, yeah, I'm passing a kidney stone. It's like, well, you'll have to wait till tomorrow morning because the emergency shuts down at 9 o'clock. I'm like, what do you mean the emergency?
I'll just tell my kidneys to wait.
Yeah, emergency. Yeah, well, there is an emergency, I'm like, where's the emergency in Cochrane where I live shuts down at 9? Yeah. You can go to the one in Calgary. I'm like, oh, that's going to be fun. Showing up at the one in Calgary at 9 o'clock because everybody else is shut down. Oof. Yeah, no thanks. I'll wait till morning.
Yeah, no kidding. Myron ends with another 20. Thank you so much for being so generous tonight. Says there's no jail term for not filing out the census. You can Google that, by the way.
I'm sure there isn't.
I do remember years ago looking at it when I didn't fill it out and seeing that it had a thing that said you could get a big fine or up to a year in jail. I think it said, or it might have said up to 6 months, but it was a long time ago. That's why I said that, and I said, throw me in jail then. I'll be the first one to go to jail for not filling out a census form.
Yeah, those are wonderful things, right? Yeah, what'd you do today, Dad? I arrested a guy who didn't fill out a survey. Oh, you're such a hero, Dad. Yeah, exactly.
Thanks. Now he's gonna get fired from his job, and he can't provide for his family because he didn't fill out a survey.
Yeah.
Real. Yeah, exactly. Crazy, insane. Myron ends with another one for 20. Says Mark Carney would barely be able to BS his way out of a burning bag of dog poo. Yeah, but he would try.
Yeah, unfortunately, the media gives him a pass, right? I mean, like they just give him a pass. It frustrates me when I watch somebody will ask him a couple of good questions, and then all of a sudden you can see where they're pulling back. And they never. I mean, man, if I was a media guy, I would go for the jugular, but then you'd never get a second interview. That's the problem, right? The media is compromised, and so he gets a pass.
Tell me about it. I know what it's like to get interviews on as a independent creator, and what it takes to keep getting those interviews. You have to toe lines, and it works on. That's on both sides of the aisle, folks. It's not on one side and not the other. It's everywhere. Even your good old PPC guy, what's his name,
Max.
Maxime Bernier. If you don't say exactly what he likes, he'll cut you off from interviews as well. So it's the way it goes.
He blocked me, so yeah.
I introduced him at that event, and he still got me blocked. That's funny. I mean, he's cordial in real life. Javelin Blue for 2 says, think Smith was threatened?
No, promise something nice. Not threatened, just promise something nice.
Fair enough. He also put out a 5 saying, the Bible says that women in power is God's judgment.
Oh.
You want to go there?
No, I have gone there. I don't need to go there, but I have gone there.
Fair enough. Let's move on. Javelin Blue with another 5 says, 12 Skip, you have no idea what you're talking about. God judges nations. You should open your eyes. I don't know.
Must be addressing it to somebody else in the chat. Somebody read her comment or his comment. Is Javelin Blue a guy or a girl?
Javelin Blue is a dude.
I thought it was a girl. Okay, well, whatever.
Well, let us know in the chat. Let us know in the chat. I'll keep an eye on that. But where are we? Javelin Blue with another 2 says, doctors are the gatekeepers of our health. Yeah, that's true. That's okay.
The whole concept of gatekeepers is annoying now. As you get older and you witness it all the time, gatekeepers just annoy the crap out of me. They really do.
We're on a marathon here. Javelin Blue for 5 says, make me so angry when Canadians brag about our free healthcare. Doctors are so dumb, they don't listen. No, they don't listen. They want to get to the next patient. That's all they care about.
They're playing the system. I mean, in a sense, I don't blame them, right? They're playing this system. But yeah, there's no free healthcare. That's a myth. That's an absolute myth.
There's no real diagnostics. There's not like a long-term, let's get to the root of the cause of your problems diagnostics. I've run into it a bunch where they're just like, oh, you got that thing. Here's a cream. Try that. And then that doesn't work, and then you got to book another appointment and get out there, and then you finally
no, it's not health. It's not healthcare.
The next time, and then you're like, got the cream, didn't work. What's next? Can you just show me a flow diagram of how you get to your conclusions? Because I know way more about what's going on than you care about. So
I mean, truthfully, we have some good emergency care. Like we have some good I'm an example, right? Sure, I bitched. I had to wait to pass my kidney stone, but once I got there, they took care of me pretty good. But otherwise, it's not preventative. It's absolutely not preventative. It's absolutely not like he said, yeah, here, this, done. As soon as I peed it out, he's like, all right, you're done. And nobody ever checked up on me afterwards. Nobody gave me any idea of whether it was a one-time event or anything like that. It's like, thank God for the internet, right? But we still have pretty good emergency care. Do we have good health care and preventative long-term? No
way.
I
Absolutely.
mean, look at during COVID. I always say this during COVID, right? Like, when's the last time anybody promoted what's the basics, right? Eat healthy, get 8 hours of sleep, drink lots of water, and exercise. You do those 4 things, man, you're going to be pretty good. Like, that solves a lot of problems right there. But nope. What was COVID? Get jabbed. Like right now, it's sickening how many times we hear the term "get jabbed."
Don't exercise. Don't go to work. Eat lots of food. Don't exercise.
Bathe yourself in disinfectant every day. Kill every bacteria on your body, good and bad. Yeah. Like terrible advice.
Like all this other stuff. Yeah, it's not good. Not good at all. Javelin Blue still going with 2. Says I'll save Canada, Marty, and Alberta. All right, appreciate it. Thank you so much.
You can join me in helping to save Alberta, but I think Canada right now, going to be a tough one.
That'll be a tough one.
Yeah.
Myron ends for another 20. Thank you so much. Says the old saying, "Sweep your own side of the street." Is that an old saying? I like it. I like the sound of it.
That must be similar to stick to your lane, or that's got to be along those lines. Like, stick to your lane, sweep your own side of the street, mind your own P's and Q's. People in glass houses shouldn't. Actually, no, closer to mind your own peace, mind your own business, Yeah, that one works fine too. Mind your own business.
Yeah, like don't criticize other people when you got a mess on your
Yeah.
your.
That's a message I love from Jordan Peterson, right? That's Jordan Peterson's like clean your room, man. Get your room organized, and once you've done that, then maybe start criticizing others. Until then, don't worry about it.
Yeah. So you got your life in order. Yeah, get your life in order, folks. That's the thing. Javelin
All right,
Blue
Javelin just confirmed. I have testicles.
I'm a man, not just identifying as a man, but you know, he's got the evidence.
The quillons or the how do you say balls in Italians? Quillons. Yeah, like
Huevos is like the Spanish slang.
Spanish, yeah.
But I think that's slang. It just means eggs. In Japanese, it's gold balls. That's actually kintama is how they say it. It's slang, obviously, but it's kintama.
Did you know that pigs don't have a ball sack?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah. When you castrating a pig is a surgery. You cannot just cut off the balls. But yeah, anyways.
Damn,
poor pigs.
Poor guys. All right, moving on. Javelin Blue with another 5 says doctors left what's called a cavitation infection in my jawline. Misdiagnosed with Lyme's disease.
Oof.
Super pissed with our healthcare system. Yeah, I would be too. Holy cow, that is a terrible misdiagnosis. I'm sorry to hear
Wonder
that.
how that happened. Yeah, that sounds nasty. Like must have been an infection
You know
under.
it was like Javelin. Yeah. Okay. What's the yeah? Cream. Let me know how it works out. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. I've had it so many times. I go in, they don't give a shit about you. They don't. Man. My bad. Winiska says, thanks for the visual, Javelin Blue.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Huevo comment.
So me and Javelin worked in the same area. So yeah, he worked at K3 and I worked at K1 and K2. So K1 and K2 were owned by Amoco, K3 was owned by Chevron, and then we all lived in Fox Creek, and Fox Creek's not that big, it's like 2,000 people, but we had our own neighborhoods. Like literally there were certain streets that were the Amoco streets and certain streets were the Chevron streets. I've met people like Javelin subsequently to living there, and it's funny, like I'll meet somebody who lived in Fox Creek for 8 years and I say, oh, that's interesting, I lived there for 8 years. And I'll say, what year were you there? And they'll be there at this exact same time as me. But if they work for Chevron at K3, the odds of crossing paths would have been nil because we hated each other in those days. Like that was the enemy, right? Like they were producing oil for Chevron and I was producing oil for Amoco. Not saying you're an enemy, but interesting. And yeah, Semcams. So it was Semcams when you were there then. It wasn't Chevron.
We also got Myron Enns for another 20. Thank you. Says worked at K3 as well.
Oh, shit.
Been since the early 90s, though. That's crazy.
Yeah. That's one of those towns. It's we call it Fox Vegas was the nickname of it. It's a small town, but everybody had to make a stint through there. Like there was lots of work. Still a very busy town. And yeah. Good place to learn the oil patch.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Funny that just last story. When I was there in the 90s, like I started my career in Fox Creek, and I remember the old timers there saying, like, Marty, don't get too settled in. You know, this won't last long. This oil field will all be done in a couple of years. Man, 38 years later, they're still going hard, strong. Yeah,
crazy. That whole like peak oil BS is long past, and the bell curve never did happen.
No, and then there's no replacement. We're not gonna like. It's beautiful that they're selling electric cars. I get that. That's fine, but I'm not jumping in an electric plane anytime soon, my friend. Not anytime soon.
Nope.
You know, yeah.
And even as a mechanic, like I'm a bigger fan of hybrids than I am of electric cars. I like the electric motor drives. Don't get me wrong. Absolutely, they're jammy. They got tons of power, great efficiency, all of that stuff. I want an ICE on board. I want an internal combustion engine on board that will produce energy on demand when I want it, with liquid fuel that I can get at any stop, and it doesn't take any time. I just put the fuel in and I'm gone.
Well, for me, it's the refueling, right? I just can't. I mean, until maybe if they came up with a replaceable battery in the electric cars, that might solve part of the problem. But like when I go to my gas station around the corner, and I don't have 15 gas stations to choose from, right? You know where I live. Like I'm kind of in the country, and there's one nearby, and it's still 4 kilometers away, and there's another one 8. And when I show up at that one on Monday morning, it's packed, and I don't mind. And when there's 3 cars in a row, it's like, okay, whatever. I'll be there in 3 minutes. It'll be my turn. You can't match that with electrics, man. If I showed up there and there was 4 electric cars in front of me and each one of them was taking an hour, I'd be like, forget it. I can't do this. And then people go, well, you can charge it at home. I don't think you can even charge it at home overnight. Not unless you have the supercharger, right? Like, yeah.
And that's a huge investment. Like you don't need that. You don't need that with liquid fuel. Liquid fuel is just optimal. It works better. It's potable.
Convenient. It's very convenient. Very convenient.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, we're at the end of it. Marty, awesome. It's been another good week. Another good week. We'll do this again next week, and then you're off.
I think I'll only miss 1 week because of the timing. I'm gone for like the hike is an entire 10 days, but I leave on Thursday. I go Saturday to Saturday kind of thing. So yeah, I'll miss the Saturday probably. I'll miss our Wednesday. Be about what, the 12th or no, sorry, what today's the 12th. What's today? No, 10. I only miss one Wednesday, not the next one, but the one after. I missed the one after. You'll have to invite
the one after that. I probably miss. So we'll try to figure that one out because I might be on the road. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, cool, awesome. All right, well, thanks everyone. Yeah, it's a good evening,
everybody. And one last one from Javelin Blue for 2 says, "Have a good night, guys. Everybody, have a great night. We'll see you all next week. We'll do this again, and well, I'll see you all tomorrow morning. Good night, everybody.
Good night."